The referee is the Kiwi, Ben O'Keefe, having a final word with Johnny Sexton. He's assisted O'Keefe by Mathieu Reynal and James Dolman. Brendan Pickerel is in the TV truck. Ireland are playing from right to left in their light green. South Africa awaiting Johnny Sexton's kickoff in their change strip of white. 9 o'clock local time in Paris. We're counting down. 3, 2 and 1. And referee O'Keefe says to Johnny Sexton, let's go to work. And Sexton kicks straight down the field into the Paris night sky. Damien Willemse wears 15. He takes it in and spins out of 1, 2, even 3 tackles, and then is dumped by Ronan Kelleher. Listen to the noise around Paris on that first collision. Vafta Clough, they're running it out from their own 22. Who expected that? Wild pass from de Klerk, knocked on out of touch, and straight away Ireland will have a line or a scrum, Tommy Bowe.
Yeah, interesting start from South Africa. Everybody talks about the power and the physicality. They've run it out of their 22. Big pass over the top to Colby, who dropped it, but it shows a bit of intent from South Africa.
Yeah, lovely little piece of play there. They did the old sort of, Etzebeth was ready to just crash it up, and he did a loop pass, went around. Unfortunately, it didn't find Colby in the best position because he couldn't grab it straight away. But Ireland will have a fantastic, great attacking opportunity here. Lovely step from Willemse, and then he just got picked up in the middle there. Ronan Kelleher caught him. What a lovely tackle.
But I mean, 1 minute into the game, you can't get much better from an Andy Farrell's point of view. Your kick-off, a line out in the South African 22, perfect attacking platform for them now. Really interesting to see what way Ireland go. Do they try and maul it? Do they keep it in tight? Or do they try and play this expansive type of rugby that we've seen and become so accustomed with?
Well, there's a stoppage here already. It looks like Josh van der Flier is getting some treatment. I'm not quite sure what exactly has happened.
Looked like his finger, I think.
Yeah, I mean, 46 seconds played.
Yeah, I think just two tackles close to that ball, or 2 attempts to tackle close to that ball, and he I'm not sure. It was, when you look away and the finger's got your finger in the right hand, and maybe it's just a little dislocation or something. He should be okay.
I love that. The cameras don't show it, but the players all know. Maybe just a little dislocation. Doesn't look pretty on camera. It's not pretty at the time, but very quick and effective.
Fields of Athenry ringing round the Stade de France. This iconic cavernous bowl of world rugby as Ronan Kelleher prepares to throw. What a set-piece opportunity, but it's been nicked by Mostert. Great work in the line-up by the Springboks, and Ireland lose the line-up, but it's somehow come back on the Irish side, and Gibson Park goes to the right and finds Andrew Porter, who trucks it up inside the 22 of Ireland, 15 metres from the right-hand touchline. 0-0 on 5 live. As Ty Byrne has a carry in his blue scrum cap. That's a good bust from Byrne. Here's Johnny Sexton on the gain line, finds Gary Ringrose coming from out to in. Again, Ireland attack, trucking it through the middle is Byrne. They've got James Lowe to the left who wants it, but they go to the right. Sexton to Hugo Keenan, who jinks from fullback. 20 metres out the Irish, they're going to get a penalty advantage. And a free ball now as Furlong posts with Sexton, brings in Bundy Aki, who's tackled by Peter Steff just over the 22. Gibson Park to the right, Sexton, wild pass that's intercepted, but he knew he had the advantage. Ireland penalty, Tommy, very kickable for Sexton.
Yeah, incredible line speed from South Africa, really filling the field, not really going too hard at the ruck, but Ireland just so short little passes, trying to find that mismatch with the line speed and single out one off player with 2 people either side of him just to get that soft shoulder. But from Ireland's point of view, what are we, 1 minute, nearly 2 minutes into it, a perfect chance to get themselves onto the scoreboard.
Well, it's a big decision here. Sexton's turning around and asking for some advice, and he's not taking the 3. That's real intent from Ireland. It was big Stephen Kitsoff who rolled on the wrong side of the ball there, and he's a big lump to get out of the way, but it definitely was a penalty. But Ireland have chosen not to take the advantage of the 3 points.
Yeah, really interesting, but from Ireland's point of view, they're here, they want to keep the pressure on South Africa. If they can go through a lot of phases, maybe they thought from Ben O'Keefe that if they go through another few penalties against, there could be even a card.
Well, that's a Leinster tactic going, and again they've got up. A Leinster tactic to kick for the corner, but Ireland have lost their first 2 lineouts. That was Peter Steff du Toit who got up, and then Hansen is levelled after the clearance kick from the box, and South Africa have gone quickly. What intent from the Springboks, the world champions. Vafta Clough goes crossfield, it bounces up for Arendse, who's shrugged off low, and he's got Creel inside into the Irish 22. They've gone coast to coast here, the box. Vafta Clough through his legs finds the number 8 Visa. He drives on into centre field. This is good from the box. Libok out to Willemse, who throws a dummy. Lovely footwork, Damien Willemse. 15 metres out, the world champions. This time they've got a penalty advantage. Big hits coming in everywhere as de Klerk finds Captain Khaleesi. who bundles further into the 22. South Africa looking for the first points after disrupting that Ireland line-out. Here's Mbanambi, their world-class hooker. Visa again carries. The collision's frightening at the Stade de France. Quick ball though for de Klerk. Here goes Ebenet Sabeth, the great lock. There for Faf de Klerk, he goes to the right. Out the back to Creel, they might have numbers here. Good defence, Ireland. No advantage has been played. Peter Steph-de-Toit loses it. Back for the penalty, and now Bobby Skinstad, after Ireland chose not to go for goal, do South Africa take what is quite a straightforward shot at 3.
Green, straight over the top off feet, Jimmy.
Well, just listening to Ben O'Keefe there was over the top. I mean, you know, it was a 70 metre. I was sitting, I'm only breathing now, Chris. It was unbelievable. What an amazing piece of play. So there was the win at the line out, and then, you know, an attempted clearance. The line out taken it quickly, and then Faf de Klerk kicked it across the field. A lucky bounce for South Africa, admittedly, but they've decided to go for goal.
Statement of 10 from both sides. How crucial would it be Ireland turning down those 3 points? South Africa now have a chance. They're kicking for goal, going to go 3-0 up if they get this over the bar. Obviously, Ireland have 2 line-outs inside South Africa's 22 in the opening 2-3 minutes of the game, lost both of them. So these are the small margins in big games like this. Both teams would have wanted to really start well. Ireland had a perfect opportunity, gifted the ball to South Africa. They've gone the other end of the pitch and looks like they're going to go ahead. Yeah, and this is a straightforward kick, and I wonder if that's the tactic for Libbok. Build his confidence from the tee. If this was further towards the corner, maybe South Africa would have gone for the line out, but Libbok has this from just to the left of the upright. The penalty shot clock is counting down. He's got to get on with it. He's only got 10 seconds. And he has a long, hard look at it. And the clock is actually, I think he's going to make the clock here. Up he steps, or maybe with a second to spare. He strikes it nicely. And South Africa are on the board in Paris. South Africa 3, Ireland 0. Manie Libbok with the goal.
I'm pleased for Libbok because that would have been a huge sort of line in the sand for him to. I mean, I was nervous on that, and it was actually a relatively easy goal, as you would know, Tommy, but fantastic frenetic start from both sides. And when Ireland beat South Africa in the autumn, Colby was kicking a goal. He missed a number of kicks as well early on and took the pressure off the Ireland team. It's up to Ireland now to really capitalise now off this kick-off. A potential Achilles heel for the box, the goal kicking, but Libbok is 1 from 1. The voices of Tommy Bowe, former Ireland winger, Lions great as well. 69 Ireland caps, 30 tries. Only Brian O'Driscoll and Keith Earls have more. And Bobby Skinstad, a former Bok captain, a World Cup winner in 2007. Our top team on 5 Live as Hansen comes forward to take Faf de Klerk's kick. Halfway line for the men in green, who tonight are Ireland. James Ryan, he trucks it up the Leinsterman just short of the halfway line. Now what do Ireland do? Do they play from here or do they look to go to the boot? The box of a couple of men in the back field, and Sexton, de Klerk has rushed up and he's given a penalty away for de Klerk. They do that all the time. They give de Klerk free licence to rush out the line, but I think this time Bob Skinstad, he's either offside or he's batted it down illegally, and it's a penalty to Ireland to go into South Africa territory. Yeah, I think the early call was offside. He definitely, there was almost a little dummy from Gibson Park, and I think he'd taken the early run there. That will scare Ireland though, from throwing that pass again, thinking that the intercept is that's what Faf de Klerk is looking for. Well, you said it before when we were talking about Rassie Erasmus. There's not a lot done on this field that doesn't come back to some form of preparation. No. It's a decent line kick from Sexton, but already Ireland have had a couple of line-outs stolen by this South Africa forward pack. It's littered with jumpers, and they are struggling from the line-out here, Ireland. It's been knocked on first by Ireland, then by South Africa. Bobby Skinstad first, then Tommy Bowe. That's 3 line-outs the Boks have disrupted. Yeah. So I'm looking at Tommy here because I played against Tommy Bowe and South Africa played against Ireland, and I don't think Ireland ever missed a line-out, and that's happened 3 in a row. They'd be disappointed with giving this away. This has been a big issue in the World Cup warm-up matches, even in the early games. The likes of Romania put Ireland's line-out under pressure. You would think with the likes of Paul O'Connell in the coaching ticket being so meticulous about the line-out, but you just see the size of the second rows. Like, there's so many options, so many big men. 2 pods from South Africa going up, contesting. Ronan Kelleher hasn't played a whole lot of rugby in the last couple of months either. He's come back as hooker, and you can tell that the jittery nerves will be coming in for his next line-out. But that's 3 line-outs for Ireland inside the South Africa half, and lost all 3.
5 Live from the BBC, your World Cup station, live in Paris. We're with you every step of the way from start to finish of the Rugby World Cup. As South Africa have this 3-0 lead, then get the free kick at the scrum. They're going to scrum again, and is that, Bobby Skinstad, a sign that the Fox are just sensing a little bit of set-piece blood here?
Well, I think, certainly with this scrum, a short-term penalty doesn't give them much advantage. You can't kick it directly out. You don't advance much into the field, so they'd rather have the scrum and then have their own ball on the front foot.
You could see kits off, fists together, we're going again. This is what those guys want, Malherbe, kits off. They love the scrum. Any opportunity to put it up to Furlong and Porter.
Well, we keep saying it, but what a noise around the Stade de France. What an atmosphere it's been all day in Paris. 9 o'clock local time, the kickoff here. We've played just short of 10 minutes. Solid South Africa scrum. They're looking to put some pressure on Ireland, who at the moment are holding firm. And so use it is the call from the referee. Jasper Wiese obliges and sets it up. De Klerk comes to the left. He threatened to go on a little snipe, but he's hit his forwards up, and you'd expect De Klerk to use that left boot and ask the likes of Colby to hare after it. They're inside their own half here, South Africa, who have a slender lead at the Stade de France. Mac Hansen's this time come forward and take it, and then he is melted. But he's done well to recycle it. And Ireland looking to put some pace and tempo on the game. Peter O'Mahony sets it up. Penalty to Ireland. As South Africa don't roll, they're looking to disrupt the box, but they concede the penalty.
Oh my goodness, that tackle on Mac Hansen. It nearly knocked him back into his own 22. I mean, that's the sort of one you go up for a high take like that. Did so well right into the South African pack. My goodness.
He's had a couple of good takes. He's shown great confidence coming in from the back to get the ball out of the sky, but then he's picked on by one of the forwards because they've waited actually, not contesting the ball in the sky and just taking the tackle on the ground. Another South African player rolling on the wrong side of the ball, gave the ball an advantage back to Ireland. They're going to go deep into South African territory here with a Johnny Sexton kick.
It looks like they're trying to go after the breakdown, and that's why they're being caught on the wrong side of the pitch. But I thought early on South Africa would fill the field and try and come up with line speed, but actually they're going after that ruck speed. They're trying to slow down Ireland's ball, but Ireland are capitalising on it. They've got a penalty. They're now in the South African 5 metres from the line.
What the Springboks did against Scotland, they made their ruck ball so slow and messy, and the Scots couldn't work off it. Finn Russell trying to perform miracles on back foot ball. Can Ireland get the breaks? Can they manipulate fast ball to let the likes of Johnny Sexton do their thing? Sexton's done his thing with the line kick. Ireland have a 7-metre line out. Again, they've messed their line up. That's 4 botched line outs from Ireland, and this is verging on the calamitous at set piece time for Ireland, Tommy.
What does Andy Farrell do now? That's Ronan Kelleher. He's only come back from injury. He played so well against Tonga last weekend. They thought he's perfect to bring back in to start with Dan Sheehan on the bench. Sheehan, of course, who hasn't played for a number of months as well. Do you bring him on when he's so rusty, hasn't played? This is a really interesting one from a coach's point of view for Andy Farrell.
And Bobby, South Africa are going to get up and compete at absolutely every line out from here on in.
Oh, absolutely. I was really impressed there. Faf de Klerk, he'd made as if he was going to do a short box kick, took an extra step or two and kicked out. So Ireland will have the line out again. It's just around the 10-yard line in South Africa's territory, but they were expecting to compete the ball on the 22. Now South Africa have got forward again, and they'll put 2 men in the air.
What do you do here? Does he go to the front of the line out?
Well, it's right. We're right down the barrel of this one. This time Kelleher does find O'Mahony. Good line-out ball for Ireland, and Sexton gets his forwards moving. That's Van der Fleer. Now a switch. Gary Ringrose. He sets it up. Ireland have made 10 metres or so. Slap bang in centre field. In between the 22 and the 10-metre line in Springbok territory. We'll be with John Bennett at Turf more shortly for an update from the Premier League football tonight. But let's see if Ireland can concoct something from this attack in Springbok territory. Doris out the back. Sexton, they might have numbers here as the South Africans rush. Lovely hands. And Hugo Keenan on this left touch side. Still Hugo Keenan. What a run, Hugo Keenan. He's 2 metres short. Can Ireland show some composure? Kelleher plays scrum half, and Doris drives on. The ball's been lost. I think it might have been knocked on. What a burst from Ireland. What a magnificent break from Hugo Keenan down the left touchline. They beat the blitz. They got outside the box and almost got the game's first try.
Johnny Sexton going to the crowd, giving it the big one. Come on, get behind us here. What a break by Hugo Keenan. It just shows South Africa with their line speed, if you can get over it, like Finn Russell, Scotland weren't really able to do that often. But again, Scotland got inches from the try line and got hauled down. Hugo Keenan so close.
The beauty about this is that the outside in defence, traditionally people are like, it's one-off. If you miss it, you're gone. What South Africa are doing is a scramble after that has been exceptional. Jaco Kriel getting back, and we just see on the screen there's Andre Pollard looking at his players, looking far more relaxed than even I am, actually.
Right, let's nip to Turf Moor while we wait for this scrum. John Bennett.
Burnley 0, Manchester United 0. One decent chance for each side. Bruno Fernandes had a shot saved from a tight angle. Amdouni had a header well saved by Andre Onana. Paul Robinson's alongside me. That's a confidence booster, Paul, for Onana.
Yeah, very much so. There's been a lot of criticism of him lately. His distribution with his feet looked nervy to start with in this game. It was a decent ball in by Connor Roberts, cut back. Amdouni's header 12 yards out. The goalkeeper holds his ground, makes his move quickly to the right hand side and makes a fantastic save down low to his right.
Even start to the game. Burnley 0, Manchester United 0.
Thanks, John and Paul. Back with you for regular updates from Turf Moor. Big development at the scrum. South Africa won the penalty. Ireland would have been desperate to keep the pressure on, but the call has gone South Africa's way, and through Libbok they clear almost up to halfway.
Yeah, it's the early bind, and Ben O'Keefe has done 2 or 3 warnings there, and he's just gone straight on. Remember, we said he did the short arm penalty earlier. South Africa chose the scrum again. He's gone to the penalty and said, "You're not giving the pause that I'm asking for." So it's technical. It's not no one's making a mistake out here that they don't mean. It's a technical error.
I mean, Ireland winning the territory battle here, but South Africa very much on top in set piece, scrum and line out. That's where Ireland really needs to start getting a bit more parity.
South Africa have won their own line out with comfort, and now Siya Kolisi drives it up. It's a good, strong defensive set from Ireland, who've got a turnover there through Ty Byrne. Brilliant stuff. Then they knock on, do they? Yes, they do. Right, so Kolisi smashed it up. Ireland held really firm in midfield, forced a slow ruck, then turned it over, but knocked it on in the process of offloading. So it will be a South Africa scrum, 10-metre line inside Springbok territory, centre field.
It's such a game of chess. There is nothing between these two sides at the minute. So physical, so confrontational. But Ireland has spent so much time in the South African half and have nothing on the scoreboard to show for it. And how important will that be later on in the match, certainly when this big South African pack come off the bench.
It was a lovely steal on the ground there from Ty Byrne. Just unfortunately, I think as he fell to ground and placed the ball back, there was just a flurry of legs and arms and knocked that on. Ireland just with a lot of unforced errors, if you want to use another tennis parlance, but we're having almost a water break. Has he called them on for an early water break, it sounds like, Chris?
I don't know. He did say Ireland as if to give an hurry up, but maybe he is.
There's a bit of attention to one of the players on the field.
James Ryan. Yeah, James Ryan. So a stoppage here, chance for everyone to catch their breath, including us here and those thousands in the stands. It's been a frenetic start. Just the 3 points, though. South Africa 3, Ireland 0. Tommy Bowe.
Yeah, the crowd have started to kind of settle into it a little bit. Ireland, it's kind of sucked the wind out of their sails a little bit, those line-outs, those scrums, those unforced errors, as Bobby just said. So from Ireland's point, it's very unlike them. The reason they've got to be the number one in the team in the world is that they make very few errors, they give away very few penalties. But so far in this match, it's exactly what they didn't want. We're 15 minutes in, and I'd love to see the stats even on the penalties.
Penalty conceded, 3 South Africa, 2 Ireland, but those line-outs lost, Tommy. 4 line-outs lost by Ireland. They've only won 1. South Africa have won their 2 line-outs with ease, really. Scrum in centre field. Compelling matchup.
3-3 on both sides, Chris. Willemse fly half-ish on the right-hand side and Libbok on the left.
Yeah, playmakers left and right for the box, as pointed out by Bobby Skinstad. De Klerk shaped to go left, but he ended up going right. Now Willemse with these dazzling feet and the power as well. He's gone over halfway, looking a little ominous with the ball in hand, the box for Ireland's sake, as Etzebeth drives on. They're trying to steal it there, Ireland, but it is there for South Africa, who have a slender 3-0 lead at the Stade de France. Manie Libbok, now Mbonambi the hooker, one of these World Cup winners who are back 4 years later for more. Wide ball from de Klerk, finds Arendse, who's nicely tackled by Ringrose. James Lowe's trying to steal. Ireland want a penalty, their fans want a penalty, and referee Ben O'Keefe obliges. Penalty Ireland, a chance to go back into Springbok territory.
Great steal by James Lowe, shows why he might not be the speedster that Arendse might be or Colby might be, but he's a brilliant, clever footballer. He's got an excellent left boot as well. And he's in there, he knows that Arendse is on his own, gets over the ball, great poach, and again Ireland another opportunity to get themselves back into South Africa's 22.
Are you surprised, Bobby, by these Bok tactics going quite wide quite early at times?
Well, I think they're just trying to unlock that. They're just trying the key to every door. I mean,
Sure.
what I really like is that they're looking relatively composed. I mean, Ireland are absolutely up for this, and you can see it. But South Africa have been, I wouldn't say nonchalant, but almost like they've driven off the ball, they've lost it. Okay, move on to the next one. It's quite a good attitude, actually.
What do Ireland do? What do Ireland do in this line-out here? When you've got Kelleher, he's lost 2 line-outs in a row. They won the last one with Peter O'Mahony, but it was almost uncontested. You're guaranteed South Africa are going to go up with 2 pods in this.
Well, it's a great platform for Ireland, but with 4 lost line-outs already, it's not guaranteed ball. Kelleher prepares to throw, Bobby, just outside the 22 in the Bok half.
Okay, Ronan, hook it. I need you to look with the markers. South Africa, set up off the mark,
Ben O'Keefe just getting some clarity over the mark as Kelleher prepares to throw. Let's see how he does here. They go to the front, Ryan does well. And you've almost heard a cheer of relief from the Ireland fans. Gibson Park, nice little drill with Bundee Aki coming on a hard line. 20 metres out Ireland, they give a penalty away. Box all over it on the floor. Faf de Klerk makes some mischief with some afters, but South Africa win a penalty and Ireland cough up a good attacking opportunity.
Really lovely drive up the middle there. They had Gibson Park, and he had a player inside him, I think Van der Fleer, and he had Bundee Aki just outside him. He offloaded to him, then he was the first man to clean it there, but amazing work over the ball from whoever that was. I think it might have been Eben Etzebeth. He got in over, got a big long paw over the ball, and Ben O'Keefe rewarded him with the penalty.
A great break by Bundee Aki, attacking that seam between the end of the line out and that first defender. But for Ireland having to go to the very front of the line out, it just stifles all the attack. Bundee Aki did exceptionally well, shows why he's so on form at the minute, but then to turn it over is really, and these are the small errors that are hurting this Irish team, because now the pressure's released. South Africa are back into the Irish half again.
They go off the top. Etzebeth, nice snappy ball from de Klerk. Lippog off his wing goes Aronson, nice drill. Creel. Oh, there's an intensity to this game, isn't there? 3-0 South Africa as we edge towards the 20-minute mark. Nice ball back inside to Peter Steptoe. That was deft hands from Lippog to Faf de Klerk. It's sniping. Bonambi is carrying just short of the 22 now. Methodical stuff, but ominous from the box. Lippog at fly half. He now finds Deolande. Another huge collision. The Irish player stays down. There may have been Gary Ringrose. De Klerk. Lippog, they've got numbers to the left. Willemse with a kick through. He's turned Ireland around very nicely. That's an excellent grubber. And with the Ireland line-out going as it is, they will put serious pressure on Kelleher, who'll throw in 5 metres from his own line, right over in the far corner.
This is not what Ireland want. A line-out 5 metres out from their own line, all the pressure on. What's really interesting to see here as well, Gary Ringrose came out of he's had a brilliant opening 19 minutes, making some incredible tackles. He shot out of the line, I think it was up against Willemse, caught his hip. Looks like it was just a stinger on his shoulder. Looks like he's okay, but they'll be definitely keeping an eye on him from a HIA perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they've gone over to check he is okay. He's just sort of releasing that shoulder a little bit, and that stinger. There's a very big difference between getting a whack on the head and getting a painful stinger. There's the line-out.
They won the line-out Ireland. James Ryan. That was a very important line-out grab for Ryan and a throw for Kelleher, because if the box had stolen that, it could have been very difficult for Ireland to defend. Oh, he's got charged down Gibson Park by Etzebeth. Ireland felt he was offside. The referee didn't. It's ricocheted out of play. It will be an Ireland line-out, but it's still deep in their own 22.
Well, he said there that Eben Etzebeth was onside the whole time, because as the hands went onto the ball, Ben O'Keefe said yes. You could hear it clearly. So Etzebeth waited until that happened. Johnny Sexton not very happy, but
he's good at that. He's done that before.
He's done it a few times, and he's a big man. He can charge it down halfway up the poles.
Yeah, 115th cap for Eben Etzebeth, one of the great locks in South African rugby history, of which there have been many. And Kelleher's line-out is not straight, Tommy Bowe, so it's giving the ball back to South Africa, who'll have a scrum 15 metres in and only about 15 metres out from the Irish line.
I was just thinking, this is the 4th line out in a row Ireland are going to win. It would seem to go straight to James Ryan into his hands, but not straight. Kelleher again. These lineouts are really starting to get to them now, and from Ireland's point of view, a scrum 15 metres in from the lineout. Yeah, it's a perfect attacking platform for South Africa.
And what do you do here? What do you do here, Bobby Skinstad, a former back rower yourself? And yeah, you mentioned HIA, didn't you, Tommy? Good spot for Gary Ringrose. He is coming off. They've got a brilliant replacement in Robbie Henshaw, but
I've got to say,
ideally they would have Ringrose back. As we wait for the scrum, there's been a goal at Turf Moor. John Bennett.
Story this is Burnley 0, Manchester United 1. It's Johnny Evans on his first Manchester United start since 2015, headed in from a corner. Paul Robertson, that was a really good finish from Johnny Evans.
Well, the easiest to task for Johnny Evans. Burnley have had the lion's share of the possessions, causing Manchester United all kinds of problems. Manchester United get a rare venture into Burnley's half, win a corner. It's so easy. It's a left-footed in-swinging corner. Johnny Evans unmarked, 4 yards out. Easiest to task to put his team 1-0 up.
Burnley 0, Manchester United 1.
Nice one, John and Paul at Turf Moor. Back with you as things develop with United 1-0 up. Right, scrum South Africa, who lead 3-0 on 5 Live at the Stade de France. What a platform this is for the world champions. Faf de Klerk comes to the right. Diolande is the crash ball option. He's almost up to the line. What a carry that is by Damien Diolande. Quick ball, de Klerk. Here go the forwards. Peter Steph's up to the line. It's been lost and it's shot out on the Ireland side. It's then been dotted down by Kelleher. What's the call from Ben O'Keefe? It might end up being a 5-metre scrum to the box. Yep, taken back over.
And for Ireland, Johnny Sexton is down. Took a massive hit there by Willemse. It looks like he's in a bit of trouble here.
It's gone back into end goal.
Right, it is all happening. Let's start with the play, Bobby. Great carry, Diolande, and then as Ireland ripped it, great defensive work, they took it back over. So it's going to be a 5-metre scrum to the box, and also all eyes on Johnny Sexton, who's getting some treatment.
But they've just lost Gary Ringrose, a guy who they don't want to go. He's going to get a head injury assessment. Robbie Henshaw, very able replacement to come on, but Johnny Sexton, we all know how important he is to this team. They've had Visa running straight over the top of him. They've had Willemse there again running right for him. They're making no bones. They know exactly who they're trying to target.
and really, really good steal from James Lowe under the poles there. South Africa had the advantage. They didn't look after the ball on the ground. James Lowe was the first man on it, but his only option was to drag it over his own line. So South Africa with the advantage here. They've got a scrum in the middle of the field underneath the poles. You just got to say, Tommy Bowe, he had a hit. You saw exactly what happened in when Diolande, he's had two carries. Yeah. One, he's had a chance to target Johnny Sexton. The other one, he's had a chance to target Gary Ringrose. Gary Ringrose has gone off. We need to check him on an HIA. It's outstanding that they're doing that check.
Yeah, they have to do it. And it was actually the video referee, you could see it on the big screen that they're like, looks like he's taken one maybe on the neck there. We need to go and have a look at this. The worrying thing from an Irish point of view, Gary Ringrose is such an influential defender. He's kind of the captain of Ireland's defence. And he's the guy that they want out on this pitch right now, because a midfield scrum right in the middle of the pitch, underneath the posts, perfect platform for South Africa.
The Boks are just starting to crank things up. We're going to go back to Turf Moor any moment now, but this is a 5-metre scrum underneath the Irish crossbar, and a golden opportunity for the world champions, who have withstood a fair bit of Irish pressure, but they've got stuck into the Irish line-out, and a couple of dominant carries have resulted in this 5-metre scrum to South Africa. Will they try and push Ireland over? Will this big pack flex its muscles? It's a good solid scrum for both sides. What's Faf going to do? He's got options right and left. Use it, says referee O'Keefe. He comes to the right and throws the ball to Creel, who's up to the line. He offloads Khaleesi, who's lost it, and Ireland survive. Look at the Irish fans all around us. They're on their feet. They know what a moment that could be. Back for Lowe. He'll look for the sanctuary of touch. He doesn't quite find it. Willemse will run it back. Here's Damien Willemse, good footwork, but he's tackled just outside the 22. So Ireland survive for now. Visa comes to Kitsoff, who's on the 15-metre line, 22 on the cross. There for Khaleesi, who carries, and Ireland meet him on the gain line. Big defence, Ireland. They win the scrum. The Irish fans celebrate. It stays 3-0 to the box. Back to Turf Moor and John Bennett.
We are back, Chris, to Burnley 0, Manchester United 0. The Johnny Evans goal ruled out for offside. Hoyland was in an offside position in front of the goalkeeper. Burnley 0, Manchester United 0.
Right, all happening at Turf Moor, all happening at the Stade. It is still unbelievably just 3-0. But what a chance for South Africa, and what a stand from Ireland to survive.
Yeah, incredible. This game, it's only 3-0. It's not been the tries maybe that people might have thought that they were going to see, but there is nothing between these two sides. And that's actually just been the small errors. We saw there Willemse making a brilliant break. Bundyaki chops him down a metre from the try line, tries to pop it up to Sia Khaleesi. Unfortunately, bounces off his shoulder. both teams have been guilty of making those small, maybe forcing the pass a little bit.
Well, that's the pressure showing, isn't it? Both sides have had, I mean, I know there's thousands of people shouting at you, it's difficult, you can't hear your mate, there's a bit of grease on the ball, etc., but the little mistakes are creeping in.
The fields of Athenry coming out now as well. The Irish supporters, 35,000 of them. It feels like they're so behind this team. But Ireland need to get themselves back into the 22. They need to get themselves onto the scoreboard.
Offside.
Ireland attack from their own 22. Sexton finds Keenan and they kick on the front foot. That's good from Ireland. Nice clearance, Keenan, and they've worked that very, very admirably from their own 22 almost up to South Africa's 22.
Yeah, an excellent exit there from Johnny Sexton as well, just shifting the ball to the outside. Hugo Keenan, a brilliant clearance kick by him, but they've actually got so many kickers there. James Lowe, brilliant left foot. You have Robbie Henshaw well able to stick boot to ball, and it makes it very difficult for the South African back three to know where the ball's going to go.
Well, we're edging towards the half an hour mark, still just South Africa 3, Ireland 0, but so many micro moments in this match for us to analyse the fine margins of Test rugby at the highest level as Khaleesi crashes it up, carrying a lot of ball, this South African skipper.
Thank you.
Back from de Klerk to Libok, who goes with a towering Gary Owen, almost as high as the Stade de France stands. Oh, what a take was that, Colby. That was unbelievable from South Africa. And then de Klerk kicks, it bounces over Lowe's head. He's got to scamper back. He's under a bit of pressure here, James Lowe. The Bok fans in front of us are on their feet. They're sensing a turnover. Ireland have held firm just about, but they're inside their own 22. Clever kicking from the Boks. They won the aerial battle and then de Klerk turned low. Tyke Furlong. He just with a kind of soaked up the tackle, didn't he? So he could set the ball up for Gibson Park, and Keenan and Lowe will both offer a kicking option. Sexton
use it 9
is just dictating traffic like the conductor he is. All 116 caps. Gibson Park kicks, it's gone high but not particularly far. Colby and Arendse are both putting their weight around under the high ball. Amazing stuff from Curtly Arendse under the high ball, Bobby. For a small man, he's getting up so high.
Yeah, just showing some tremendous guts there, high into the night sky. He got that, and there was absolutely no malice in it at all. The two men literally going for the same ball, and they crashed to the ground at the same time. I mean, the crowd are having a look at that, but I don't think there's anything in it. There certainly wasn't anyone making a tackle. They literally were both going for the ball.
Hugo Keenan going up to try and claim the ball. A wonderful taker of the ball up high, but Arendse, I mean, he's only 5'9". He jumped double the height from there. What a take, just plucked it out of the air here in Paris. Totally changed the momentum again, put the pressure back on Ireland. And again, as we've said the whole time, we're 28 minutes into this game. There is so little between these two teams. 3-0 doesn't look like the blockbuster that we might have thought for score wise, but boy, there's very little. And who is going to be able to break the deadlock between these two?
What's it like, guys, playing in a test match like this when every little decision, every breakdown, every phase has a crucial moment that can turn things one way or the other? The margins are so fine.
You don't want to be the one who gives away that error. It's a simple missed tackle, a penalty, a missed challenge like a yellow card, red card can have such an impact in a game that is so tight between these two. So discipline is so crucially important.
Yeah, absolutely. South Africa will want to convert some of the mistakes that Ireland have been making, though. They've only got 3 points out of, let's be honest, a lot of the rub of the green so far in this game. So Ireland might take some of that and be very happy with it. What I would say is it's been incredibly physical in terms of the number of tackles and the number of bodies and the number of carries. So if if South Africa gets through this and they've still got 7 forwards on, they'd be delighted starting the second half with that to come their way.
Exactly like you said, that Gary Ringrose has gone off with a head injury assessment. It's been a while. It looks like we haven't heard yet what's going on with him, but it doesn't look like he's coming on at the moment anyway.
Yeah, we'll keep across that, whether that is permanent with Ringrose off and Henshaw on. 3-0 South Africa earlier in the Rugby World Cup. Georgia 18, Portugal 18. What a finish that was in Pool C. England 71, Chile 0. Steve Borthwick's men going 3 from 3. Henry Arundel getting 5. Bundy, Aki, what a World Cup he's having. He's gone scything through. What a break this is by Aki into the 22. Can Ireland convert? They're behind South Africa. Gibson Park had to check as the Boks rushed on the outside. There are numbers for Ireland left. They've got to use it. Van der Fleer, Andrew Porter carries. Low comes in, but they may get a turnover here, South Africa. No, it's there for Van der Fleer, who's playing at 9. Aki, short ball to Omani. Into the 22 goes the Munsterman. Ireland looking for their first points of the evening. On 5 Live from the BBC at the Stade de France. Gibson Park. Back out to Sexton, inside to James Lowe. That's clever. Lowe, centre field, 20 metres out. Gibson Park, can Ireland work this trademark shape? Porter, he sticks his head down. There for Gibson Park again as Ireland look to get into their patterns. Driven on by Kelleher into the 22. Here's Sexton on the gain line. He shovels it along to Furlong. But South Africa seems to have just weathered that after the Bundee Aki break, Tommy.
Yeah, South Africa, unbelievable break by Bundee Aki. There's so much space behind. South Africa just flooding the front line and just hoping that Ireland don't chip it into the corner. Mac Hansen, James Lowe are hugging the touchline, calling for it.
Here's Aki on the touchline. He's going inside the 20. What a ball to Lowe. What a tackle by Willemse to save the day. Ireland so close to breaking this formidable Springbok defence. They've got a penalty advantage as the box don't release. What can Ireland do? With a free hit at it, with advantage being played by the referee. Half an hour gone in Paris, 3-0 to the box in this titanic clash in Pool B. Gibson Park digs, back to Henshaw. Robbie Henshaw goes crossfield, that's not going to work for Hansen. And we go back for the penalty, and now a decision for Ireland. They've had loads of opportunities, they've got behind the box a few times, they're still scoreless. I imagine as Ben O'Keefe, Tommy, brings this close to the touchline, Johnny Sexton's going into the corner.
Going to go to the corner again. I think they got to back this game plan that they've went into the game with. Yes, they've missed a few opportunities and lineouts in this South African 22, but you can see Kelleher is getting ready to get the ball. This is their moment to try and get themselves back into the game, back in front of this South African powerhouse.
Well, Bundee Aki, who kept Henshaw out the starting 15, has been one of the stars of the World Cup. And he's doing it against the very best. Romania, Tonga now the biggest test of all, South Africa, and Aki is stepping up, and Sexton to the delight of the fans all around us who get to their feet down in the corner. Ireland with a 5-metre line out. Their line out has been troublesome today. They've lost 5 as Ringrose prepares to come back on. So he's passed his head injury assessment, it looks like, and he'll return to the fray. Ireland through Kelleher, 5 metres out. What an opportunity for the Grand Slam champions, the world number 1. Van der Fleer peels away. He's tackled by Etzebeth. The crowd get to their feet. Aki, who started this whole thing off, he drives on 3 metres from the back line. Therefore, Gibson Park. Out they go to Peter Omani, who sticks his head down. Methodical stuff from the Irish, going through the phases. Caelan Doris is chopped just short. Ireland have numbers to the right, but they've got even more to the left. Here's Omani, Peter Omani dummies, tackled by Faf de Klerk, who clings gratefully to his ankles. Gibson Park, the scrum half, out to Van der Fleer, the World Player of the Year. He's just short, they couldn't be much closer, the Irish. Can they overwhelm the box? Back out to Sexton, Sexton on the loop, he throws the dummy. Johnny Sexton's almost under the post. He's an inch or two short. There for Gibson Park. Numbers to the right, he's got loads of forwards out here to the left. He goes right, James Lowe, Mac Hansen walks it in, and Ireland are up and running in Paris.
Brilliant. What play, what wonderful play by Ireland. They kept South Africa close, tried to batter them over them. Then Johnny Sexton, this short pass play out the back. Johnny saw the line, he was inches from the line, and then wonderful quick pass by Gibson Park out to James Lowe, and gives out to Mac Hansen on the touchlines, trying to spread that South African defence. But boy, South African are putting them under serious pressure in defence too. He's very close to going over the dead ball line there. Mac Hansen tried to get round underneath the posts.
Oh, he's just about okay, isn't he?
My goodness, that's a bit too close.
He's certainly flirting with it. I think he scored it before though, but what a great effort. I mean, Ireland hanging on to the ball, phase after phase, roll after roll. Unbelievable, and you know what, it all started with that Bundee Aki break right up the centre of the South African defence,
and just showed how dangerous Ireland can be if they can win that set piece. South Africans showed if they've got the set piece battle won, it's very, very difficult for Ireland to get themselves into the game. But Ireland, again, the tempo, it's just so hard to live with. It's not just about the physicality. They trucked the ball up, they took the beating that they needed, but then it created the space out wide, and Mac Hansen just hugging that touchline, so difficult to defend.
Oh, brilliant rugby from the Irish. They took their time, they unpicked this fabled box defence, And now Johnny Sexton has a chance to turn a 2-point lead into 4. Up he steps. The roar tells you. And again Sexton G's the crowd up, and you can see how many Irish are in the Stade de France, how many thousands of people are flying their flags, standing in their green tops. Ireland leads 7-3.
Yeah, just what Ireland needed going into the final few minutes of this first half. Things haven't gone according to plan a lot of the time for them. They've made a lot of mistakes. Both sides have made a number of mistakes, but Ireland got that score, which has been it's kind of in a match that is so important to them. You have to get yourself onto the scoreboard.
Well, the ricochet from the kickoff has ended up in the hands of Khaleesi, and that's a clever kick from Deolandi. Oh, and they're doing well to turn Ireland here, South Africa, and it will put pressure on Ronan Kelleher. And the last thing you want to do is concede straight after scoring a try, but that's exactly Bobby Skinstad, what the box wanted. Get hold of the ball from the kickoff, turn Ireland around, put pressure on Kelleher's throw.
Oh, absolutely. It goes from phase to phase. You know, everything that's in the past needs to be gone. You need to be fluid, able to move forward. It was great contest of the kickoff ball now, and pressure on Ireland right close to their line.
6 metres from their own line. They're going to go to the front of Peter O'Mahony in the middle, does well. Kelleher, that would have just steadied the nerves, and now here's Caelan Doris. What a carrier this guy is, and he sets it up 15 metres or so from his own line. Penalty Ireland as the box again don't roll. Ben O'Keefe's been hot on that area, and this will be a pressure reliever for Johnny Sexton. He can bang it up to halfway.
A soft one, soft penalty to give away.
Yeah, it was soft from Peter Steph du Toit. He's a big man, he's a mountain man. He made a lovely tackle, but clever play by the Irish defenders, getting in and around the ruck, not allowing him to get out of the way. And he's a big lump, you know, it's not as if he can just get rolled out of there.
No, but he's an experienced guy, you know, in a line out inside Ireland's 22, to be penalised for not rolling out of the way, it's something, or even making the effort to try and do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure it's something Jacques Nienaber will not be happy with, because it's the same as Mbonambi got penalised for the exact same thing earlier on.
Well, Ireland have cleared almost up to the halfway line. They lead by 7 points to 3. Mac Hansen's try, Sexton's conversion, replying to that early Money Libok penalty. Ireland do win the line-out. Peter O'Mahony, Gibson Park wings it into midfield. Punty Aki just sets it up. He's having a big game. They need him at his best, Aki, and he is so far tonight. 37 minutes gone. 5 Live Sport, your World Cup station from the BBC. Van der Fleer, how's he carrying that ball? He's barely finished carrying just now, and he's back on his feet to take it up again. Use it, says referee O'Keefe to Gibson Park.
Okay, no,
and you imagine Ireland would just try and slow things down and try and get to half-time with this 7-3 lead.
No,
Gibson Park sends it into the pitch black Paris sky. Tester for Aronson, who's good under the high ball, and then he loses it backwards. Willemse spins, good tackling Ireland. Gary Ringrose was up quickly, back on the field after his assessment. South Africa on their own 22, they carry through Etzebeth. The tackling done by opposite number Tyg Byrne. Baf de Klerk back to Libok, who kicks off his left. He's dual-footed, isn't he, Libok? Hugo Keenan, this classy operator at full-back for Ireland. He makes half a break. And Ireland just are growing in confidence all the time. Ringrose plays a dummy half, rugby league style. He sets it up. The box trying to swarm the breakdown, but it's there for Ireland, the world number 1. Gibson Park goes wide to low. He might prod this forward. He does prod it forward. All on the bounce now. That's going to go dead. Or will it have to be dotted down? No, it'll be a scrum back. He wanted that to hang in the dead ball, didn't he, Tommy Bowe, for a goal line dropout. But it'll be a scrum back from where Lowe kicked it around about the 10-metre line in the box half.
Clever play. It's something that we spotted earlier on. There is lots of space behind this South African defence that they're hoping that Ireland don't go there. James Lowe, we spoke earlier on about his very clever left foot as well. Unfortunately, that kick from him just went that little bit too long, but exactly that. He wants to land that and to stop just outside the try line, make the South African back three, carry the ball and put them into touch. It's now scrum. South Africa's just around the halfway line now, though.
90 seconds left of this captivating first half at the Stade de France. South Africa 3, Ireland 7. In front of a packed out crowd. Green shirts everywhere, the dark green of South Africa, the light green of Ireland. The city of Paris jumping from the early hours today.
Coach!
What a carnival atmosphere it's been, one of the great World Cup occasions. Ireland's coaches have already headed down. Andy Farrell and Paul O'Connor-Latal, Simon Easterby, they're going to prepare for half-time as South Africa attack from their own half. Aronson out to Libok, nice ball to Colby, who has to take it over his shoulder. And Ireland have done pretty well to scramble. It's still halfway line, so not overly threatening from an Irish point of view at the moment. Penalty, Ireland though. They're getting all the rub of the green at the breakdown. They're flooding that area. And they get a holding on penalty, and now, Tommy Bowe, they can take it into the 22 and have one more go at the box this half.
Gary Ringrose, what a tackle, shot out of the line. Hit Cheslin Cope, or Ardent, who was throwing that pass to the touchline. Again, gets up with the tackle, makes another big hit. He's such an important and influential player in Ireland's defence, and he went off with that HIA earlier on. He is so important to this Irish team, and particularly against that South African defence.
Well, the Ireland players seem to be growing in stature and confidence. Their fans likewise. Lots more noise coming from the Irish supporters after a nervous first 20 for the world number one. They've settled into it, they've scored their try, and they're finishing the half on top, Bobby Skinstad.
Yeah, absolutely. South Africa just looking a little bit jaded almost the last 5 or 6 minutes. Ireland really want to use this as an opportunity now. We're into the red, so South Africa would like the half to end. Ireland would probably want to get a little bit more reward out of it.
Yeah, they've got a liner on the 22, and their line out has just steadied, and they peel round. Gibson Park, who else but Bundy Aki, another decent carry. They need men in there to help clear. They get that support. Gibson Park to Josh van der Fleer in the red scrum cap. He sets it up. Gibson Park comes to the right. Andrew Porter. That's a decent burst. He's helped out by clubmate James Ryan. They're only 15 metres out, are Ireland. They lead by 7-3. Hansen's off his wing from Sexton's pop. Sexton was absolutely levelled by Peter Steph du Toit, but he's back on his feet, Sexton. And Ireland lose it forward, and I think South Africa will take half-time. It's only a knock-on. Irish fans get excited as Kelleher picked up the loose ball and dotted it down, and that is half-time. Right. South Africa 3, Ireland 7. Before we go back to Sonia, Tommy Bowe, and then Bobby Skinstad, try and sum that all up.
It's been just what we wanted. There was all this build up to this game. How important is how do both teams going to do it? I think both sides have lived up to the hype in that first half. Very, very little between them. Be really interesting to see what Andy Farrell says at halftime from the Irish point of view, because I think they've had their chances. It hasn't quite worked for them, but I think they're probably the team that'll be happier going in at halftime.
Absolutely. I think it's a heady mix of big mistakes and big plays. I think they always talk about when you watch something happening unfolding, it's like watching a car crash in slow-mo. This is watching a car crash at high speed. It's unbelievable. What a lovely match, and big players playing big games.
Well, we've only had 10 points, Sonia, but intensity's through the roof. South Africa 3, Ireland 7 at the break.
Oh, it's fabulous. It's like watching two heavyweight boxers, isn't it, going toe to toe. You know it's going to take the full 12 rounds to separate them. Tommy, Mac Hansen's try, just how significant was that? Not just because Ireland got on the scoreboard, but just to prove that Bok defence can be breached.
Yeah, so important, Sonia. I think that what you saw early on in the game, that Ireland had loads of opportunities in the South African half, and the set piece let them down countless times. Simple errors, South Africa getting up, and it's almost like a machoism showing that you can't get past us here. So from Ireland's point of view, they seem to have sorted out the line out. They're having to go to the very front, which isn't giving you the best platform to attack from. But we talk all the time about Ireland and their exciting attack and how many different options they have as attacking runners and how difficult it is to defend. South Africa would have backed themselves that they could deal with that, but again, it just showed you can go through the phases, the space is there out wide. It's just a case of holding your depth and getting the ball out there. That's exactly what James Lowe did. Release Mac Hansen on the touchline, and Ireland, getting that try that they really, really needed. If Ireland didn't score in that first half, I think that they'd be really upset and a little bit concerned, actually.
Bobby, you'll have been in a few lineouts in your day. What have Ireland done to steady the ship in that area?
Well, I think that, the first 3 or 4 they might have been overreaching. They were trying for a very sort of close to the back of the line. I'd give us the best possible stage we can, and South Africa put a second pod up, which meant that they could just get a hand onto it and flick it onto their side. So I think what they did is they took the sure ball 2 or 3 times in a row, and that got everybody's confidence back. They could do some driving lineouts from it, they could do some attacking platform if they wanted, but they could get the ball from the hooker into the hands of the jumping man, which was so important.
Yeah, we will be back for second half commentary on South Africa against Ireland, with Ireland having a narrow lead at the break, 7 points to 3, by virtue of that try just before half-time from Mac Hansen. We'll be going to the news shortly, but let's go to Turf Moor first. Burnley against Manchester United, Paul Robinson and John Bennett.
Half-time, Sonia. Burnley 0, Manchester United 1 just before the break. A fabulous goal by Bruno Fernandes, a looping long ball by Johnny Evans, brilliant pass. And on the volley, Bruno Fernandes fired it across the goalkeeper into the back of the net. What a goal, Paul Robinson, but do they deserve it?
Probably not on the balance of play. I think they've had an earlier goal disallowed for offside, which was unlucky for Johnny Evans. But I think on the balance of play, Burnley have had the better possession, they've had the better moves and created the better chances without troubling Andre Onana too much. Onana's made one really good save, which will do his confidence no harm. But the goal from Bruno Fernandes, we have seen one of the goals of the season here tonight already. Honestly, I can't describe to you how hard that technique is. The ball from Johnny Evans was just inside the centre circle on an angle. Bruno Fernandes watches it all the way onto his right foot. He doesn't have a touch, he doesn't try and bring it down. 12 yards out on the angle, he hits it on the volley as sweet as you possibly can across James Trafford in the Burnley goal. Nothing he could do. It was a fantastic volley, an absolutely glorious goal to grace a really poor game, in all honesty.
Burnley had some decent chances. Zeki Amdouni forcing a really good save from Andre Onana, also hit the post. I've got to ask you about Andre Onana. He's the talking point, Paul. Obviously, your goalkeeping perspective, how do you think he's done in this first half?
He's done okay goalkeeping wise, keeping the ball out of the net. He's made a decent save and he's played well with his feet. I question the way that Manchester United play with him in goal. Everything slows down. He's an out ball for them. They're very slow. His first thing that he does is he stops the game, he rolls his studs over the ball, and then Manchester United get very structured. He's kicked the ball long a couple of times. They've lost possession through his long passes to Højlund, and the way that they play in, yes, I can understand what they're doing with using the goalkeeper, but they haven't quite got it right yet. He's not quick enough. It's slowing things down and it's hampering them.
At the moment, it's going Erik ten Hag's way due to a wonderful goal from Bruno Fernandes. Burnley 0, Manchester United 1.
Paul, John, thank you very much. Further updates from Turf Moor in the second half of South Africa against Ireland. It's physical, it's fierce, it's fabulous rugby. Plenty more to come after the news here on 5 Live from Helen Place.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Labour's shadow net zero secretary Ed Miliband says the government's decision to disband its energy efficiency task force shows Rishi Sunak doesn't give a damn about climate change. The Department for Energy Security and Net Zero says it's invested more than £6.5 billion in energy efficiency upgrades since the last election and will continue to support families. Ministers say they remain committed to delivering the HS2 railway after one of its top infrastructure advisors said it would be a tragedy if it scaled back further. The government is coming under increasing pressure to confirm whether or not it will build the Birmingham to Manchester leg. A man's in hospital after being attacked by a dog believed to be an American Bully XL in a South London park. Police are hunting the owner who fled with the dog before officers arrived. And the Pope has used a visit to the city of Marseille in France to urge European countries not to treat migrants as invaders. He called migration a reality of our time that must be governed with wise foresight.
5 Live Breakfast.
In my opinion today comes from Helen Skelton. She thinks parents should stop getting obsessed about their children's sleep. Give me a quick summary of your position, please, Helen.
I just don't believe it's necessary for people to get so obsessed with children's sleep routine and force it down each other's throats. Does your child sleep? Oh, mine sleeps 12 hours. Just let it be. It will be what it will be.
This is a great text. We had that parent whose child slept 12 hours from birth, or so she claimed, made the rest of us feel utterly useless. That's what I hate.
That's my point.
That's okay. I think we might actually align on this. They're pretty good at sleeping about 9 hours by about 4-ish months. That sounds good to me. I'll put your hand off for that.
Take it.
Don't know why we worried though. As they reach their teens, 18 hours sleep a day was no problem at all.
5 Live Breakfast. Weekday mornings from 6. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Rugby World Cup 2023 on 5 Live Sport and BBC Sounds with Sonia McLaughlin.
And we will be straight back to Stade de France very shortly for the second half of South Africa against Ireland. Ireland leading 7 points to 3 at the break. In the football at Turf Moor, Manchester United, you're just hearing from John and Paul, are 1-0 up at half-time against Burnley. Bruno Fernandes putting Eric Ten Hag's team ahead at the break there. Elsewhere today, it finished Manchester City 2, Nottingham Forest 0. City still unbeaten in the Premier League. Crystal Palace 0, Fulham 0. Luton Town 1, Wolves 1. First points for the Hatters in the Premier League. And in the 5:30 match, Everton finally ended their winless streak after beating Brentford 3-1. Here's Sean Dyche, who was speaking after the game to Rob Nothman.
You know, you need results because it changes the storyline, or certainly gives us a chance to build a different storyline. But you want a performance that wins. I've said it all the time. You want to design a way of winning, not wait for a win. And I thought we did. I thought the performance from the players to take the game on from the very start of the game, creating lots of chances. Bit of a head scratcher to go in at 1-1, and that's been so far the story, where we just think, how are you not winning? How have we not won a game? But then to reinforce it with their second half performance, it was very strong, very organised, and definitely made more chances and capitalised on them.
To golf then, and it's been a really exciting day at the Solheim Cup in Spain. Europe have brought the scores level to 8-all going into the singles tomorrow. Kat Downs is there for us.
So the fight back is complete from Team Europe, and we are level pegging going into Sunday's singles at 8 points apiece between the USA and Europe at the Solheim Cup. BBC Golf correspondent Ian Carter and Lydia Hall alongside me here. Well, what a fight back. What spirit from Europe. What a performance.
They won the day, didn't they? They won the afternoon yesterday after being trounced in the opening set of foursomes. They've come from 4-0 down to level it. The question is, at what cost? Because certainly Suzanne Pettersen has had to use 3 players in all of the sessions, and so that may mean fatigue in the singles. But let's just celebrate a sensational afternoon of 4-ball action in which there was only one defeat, and that was Anna Nordqvist and Caroline Headwall falling to Cheyenne Knight and Angel Yin. But wins for Hullen Maguire, for Sagstrom and Pedersen, and then right at the end, Sagander and Grant over Kang and Vu to make it 8-all going in to the final day.
And the standard of golf has been phenomenal from both the US and European sides, Lydia. Some standout performances from you from today.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to start at the top. Leona Maguire, incredible again this afternoon. She didn't have her best stuff in the foursomes. She wasn't striking it very well, but, you know, putting very well. And standout performance of the day, I think, for her, and Charlie at the top, leading the team out today.
And Suzanne Pettersen, you touched on that, Ian. When we heard from her at the end of the play on today, at the end of the 4 balls, she said she put out all her woman power to try and complete that comeback. That is a bit of a concern going into the singles tomorrow.
That is something that she is going to have to counter somehow. But Maguire has played in all of the matches so far. There are 3 of them. Pedersen and Lynn Grant as well, and so they're going to be exhausted. There's no way around that. And Stacey Lewis, perhaps at the cost of the leaderboard and the scoreboard at this stage, has been cute and made sure that each of her players has been rested for at least one session. So they're going to be fresher for the singles.
So you may say going into tomorrow's singles that the US have the advantage. Europe back in it though, 8 points apiece, but at what cost on the European side? Coverage of the singles from 10 a.m. tomorrow on 5 Live, and full commentary from 12 p.m. onwards on Sports Extra and BBC Sounds.
In the cricket, England beat Ireland in the second one-dayer at Trent Bridge. Will Jacks hit 94. Sam Hain, one of 4 uncapped players in the home side, made 89 for England, who won by 48 runs to lead the series. It's the 3 series, 1-0. Now, earlier on today, back to the Rugby World Cup, we can get some reaction from Lille, because that's where England beat Chile 71-0 as the match finished with Farrell, Ford and Smith all on the field at the same time. Here's former England fly half Paul Grayson.
George Ford brought real acceleration to their attack, which he always does. He looks full of confidence, played flat to the line and really kind of energised everybody. Marcus Smith, over the course of the game, put himself in some nice positions. Caveat always is that they were playing Chile and they were on the front foot and there were spaces where there shouldn't normally be spaces, but all you can do is take advantage of that. And I thought Smith did that really well once he'd settled down, a little edgy in the first 15 minutes perhaps, but then he did some really, really nice things, as you would expect. He's got genuine speed on the outside, he's got good footwork and awareness, and Ford, Farrell and Smith to end the game, yes, they were pulling Chile this way and that. The hard work had been done at that point, but it gives us something to talk about. It's great.
Is that the sort of lineup, though, that Steve Borthwick would go if it was a quarter-final?
Yeah, and that's the big question. We're in the World Cup. It's a knockout match. There's a bit of rain in the air. How are you setting your team up to play? So, no, not necessarily. And depending upon the opposition, talking with Matt Dawson earlier on, he's saying, look, who's your quarter-final against? You know, if it's against Wales, you kind of know what's coming. You want your fullback to be Freddie Stewart. If you're playing maybe a more open and less kicking game, perhaps against Fiji or Australia, who knows? But I think what it's done is given us a look that there is another way for England to play. Not necessarily all three of those fly halves on the field at the same time, but certainly Smith, he's only played a few minutes at fullback in a game against serious opposition, but he still made headway in that period. He can do it against good players. So if I was looking at it from a coach's point of view, I'd be saying, yes, we've got what we've seen in training. We've seen it now on a field. We do have another option. We have got players like Joe March and Elliot Daly and Freddie Stewart who can play wing or fullback or centre and wing, so you can manipulate your bench to have Smith on it and not necessarily lose something out. If you're chasing the game the last 15 minutes, absolutely he's shown tonight that is a valid setup.
And 5 tries finally for Henry Arundel. Day to remember for him. Does he come into the equation as we go forward towards knockout phases?
He had 2 good finishes from kicks, one from a kick through, one from a kick over the top. He had 3 walk-ins from memory when all the work was done. He was just in the right position on his wing. If a team is playing well against inferior opposition, you would hope that one of your wings would score a bucket load of tries, because it means you're doing quite a lot of things right, and some of those should be walk-ins, which is exactly what he got. Historic day for him. He's in the quiz question, who's scored 5 tries in a World Cup? Him and Josh Lucy now, if memory serves me correctly. So he's part of that. Not enough for him to do today to say, put me in straight away. But at 20 years old, what a thing to achieve.
England winning 71-0 in Lille. I don't think we're going to see that many tries in this match. Only the one so far from Mac Hansen, but it's totally absorbing. Chris Jones.
It really is. What a 40 we have in store now as Ireland turn it over. Well, they get turned over by South Africa from the kickoff, and the Boks are only 5 metres out. Here comes Mostert, South Africa, and then a penalty to Ireland. Right, so obviously what's happened is that the South Africa turnover was illegal. Yeah, and the assistant referee on this near touchline has got it. So Tommy Bowen, Bobby Skinstead. What an eventful start to the half. A routine kickoff. Ireland took it in. It popped back on the Boks side, but even though they almost went under the post, referee Ben O'Keefe belatedly decided it was a penalty against Africa. Ireland then have the penalty to go up to halfway.
Yeah, I saw Ibn Etzebeth wriggling to try and get out of the way from being on the offside position. Ben O'Keefe said, well done. And maybe in that action, he knocked the ball back onto South Africa's side. So, illegally gained. So, absolutely, Ireland must benefit.
And second half is kicked off just where the first half left off. I mean,
okay, let's start with good
South Africa with the kick-off. Ireland could have got out of their own half. Turnover. Again, just small little mistakes from both teams.
Oh, that was a big moment, wasn't it? If that play had gone on, South Africa could have eaten into and taken the lead. As Ireland win the line now, they're getting more confidence in that area. Short ball from Aki to Ringrose. South Africa 3, Ireland 7. If you're just joining us on 5 Live, Gibson Park sees some space. He's got Peter Omani after it. Great kick, Gibson Park. And Omani does pretty well to pressure Faf de Klerk. And de Klerk then throws it into Kelleher to try and nick a free kick or a scrum out of Ireland. It wasn't a 50-22, was it? No, it's definitely South Africa's ball and Bonambi to throw in.
South Africa ball, but a very clever kick by Gibson Park. Putting it in behind Faf de Klerk, who he knows is going to be defended on that open side, but actually quite dangerous by Kelleher. You have to be 5 metres from the line. Faf de Klerk threw it into his belly, thinking that you're obstructing a quick throw in here.
And there's clever work by de Klerk. It didn't quite pay off though. as Mbanambi throws to Mostert, and then Baf de Klerk finds captain Khaleesi, and Bobby Skinstad as South Africa look to clear their lines. All eyes really, or at least one eye, on this South African bench, which has 7 forwards. None of them are on yet. Will they come on en masse between this 40 and 50 minute mark? Some of those box forwards were blowing a bit towards the end of the half. They know they've probably only got to go 50 metres or so. Ireland though, ball in hand, Sexton, this is obviously a tactic to kick and turn the box around. They felt it was deflected, Ireland, but the officials don't, to the boos of the Irish supporters. So Sexton's kick will mean it's a South Africa line-out throwing in 20 metres from their own line, even though they felt it had been deflected for an Ireland line-out.
Very interesting. First half we spoke about how much space is behind that South African defensive line. South Africa are coming up incredibly fast, trying to get into Johnny Sexton's face. But you see Gibson Park putting the ball behind Baf de Klerk. Johnny Sexton doing now as well. And now Ireland maybe have a turnover here in the 22.
Well, Peter O'Mahony's got stuck into the Bok line out. And Ireland, I think, are going to have it now. O'Mahony got up, Bobby, forced the error, and now Kelleher will throw into an Irish line out. What, 10, 12 metres from the Springbok line?
Yeah, good play from O'Mahony. Did the ball come last off Etzebeth? Yeah, I think it'll be an Irish throw in here.
Listen to the crowd here. Ireland, Ireland, Ireland is the roar from the travelling hordes. Ireland lead by 7-3, but this time South Africa nicked the Irish line out. It's tit for tat at the set piece. Ireland were just starting to get into their line out groove, but then the world champions got up to nick that one, retrieve possession, and potentially snuff out a very, very promising attacking platform for the Irish. De Klerk kicks. It's a long clearance kick. It's a very good clearance kick. That's world class from De Klerk. Takes it up to halfway.
Very frustrating from Ireland's point of view. Another attacking line out in the 22. And Kelleher, it seemed like the pass just went off with her as Mostert got up and just stole the ball. A great read by him. But why go for the back? You know, when we saw in that first half, when Ireland went to the front of the line out, they won the ball, then they can take South Africa through phases.
Yeah,
why risk it and go to the back?
They got the double pod, so Ireland could potentially, you know, put someone up at the front. Once South Africa committed, they could put someone in wherever they want.
Exactly like they just did.
Good line-out win that for Ireland, and Peter O'Mahony, who's brilliant in that area. Bundyaki, who's been a revelation this World Cup. Halfway line for the Irish, who lead by 7 points to 3. Kelleher a little bit isolated, but shows good strength under pressure from Kitsoff. Slow ruck, through comes Khaleesi, he's all over Gibson Park, who almost manages to slither away. 5 minutes into this second half, I do wonder when Rassie Erasmus and Jack Nienaber will go to the bench. They have 7 forwards primed and ready to go as South Africa win the penalty. This time Jasper Wiese is rewarded. Ireland hold on, penalty South Africa just short of halfway.
Yeah, just went with the isolated player, and Jasper Wiese, great work. But I just got to say, Ireland have got their tails up here. You know, they're trying things, they're working. Jamison Gibson Park was a hair's breadth away from, you know, clearing out the middle of the field there, because he, instead of passing, oh wow, Baf de Klerk's going to go for
Go for goal, 55 metres this would be.
That's a long kick from here, wow.
The ball is flying at this World Cup. We've seen drop goals from 50 metres, we've seen kicks from 60, but Baf de Klerk is not the most accomplished goal kicker.
No, this is a big kick, but obviously the intention is, as Bobby just said, Ireland do have the front foot at the minute. They look like things are going their way. A kick like this to go over all of a sudden puts the pressure back on this Irish side.
Well, there's two things that could happen. The one is the kick goes over and then South Africa get a brief respite, or Ireland go, look, they're being desperate, you know, keep your confidence up, let's play, guys, let's not change too many things.
56 metres, Baf de Klerk, left boot. Oh, he's got the distance, he's definitely got the distance. This is a decent kick from Baf de Klerk. It's hit the post. Who's got it? It's in South Africa's possession. The Boks have somehow got this ball back, and they're only 6 or 7 metres out. Jesse Creel, Mbanambi the hooker. The ball hit the left upright from de Klerk's penalty and has come back into Springbok possession. Ireland defending for their lives as the Boks work the short side through Etzebeth, but what a tackle coming in by 2, 3, 4 Irish players. They've held him in mid-air, and they forced the scrum. And listen to the response from the Ireland fans.
It seemed like 35,000 Irish supporters were behind that tackle. What a hit. When do you ever see that?
Right.
Etzebeth lifted up, held up,
Time off.
All the talk was about the Springboks' power, the Irish precision, but that was power from the Irish. Etzebeth stopped by a mighty tackle.
James Lowe,
Gibson Park, and Josh van der Fleer keeping him airborne, forcing the scrum, and now Jacques Nienaber and Rassi Erasmus start to play their cards. 3 changes up front. Who have we got here, Bobby? We've got
Snyman's coming on.
Oxenchail, they're bringing on
2 second rows.
Snyman on for Mostard. Quagga Smith is on for
lock pairing off, lock pairing on
for Jasper Wiese.
It looks like Kitsoff is coming off as well.
Yeah, Oxenchail is on. So we've got 4, I think, front row, 4 forward replacements at once. Yep, so as you guys say, Locks, John Klein and RJ Snyman on for Etzebeth and Mostert. Oxenchail on for Kitsoff, and Quagga Smith is on for Jasper Wiese in the back row. So 4 of the 7 forwards unleashed at once by the South African management 7 minutes into the second half.
They're showing their cards, they show that they need it. What are we, 47 minutes into the game? This is where we're going to see, can Ireland withstand that might, that power?
Here it goes, 4 fresh bodies, almost blow Ireland to bits at the scrum. Penalty, South Africa. Ireland peeled away, then they've been penalised. And I'm sure Bobby Skinstad, the box, will go for the scrum with these fresh bodies who straight away have meant business.
Yeah, it was a statement of intent from South Africa, and they are a good scrum. We've seen it before. Oxenchair's got a tremendous reputation as a guy who can get under his opposition, and they really did well. Sia Khaleesi says, let's do that again, please. Big opportunity for Ireland, though, to counter it and to push them away, but look at the power coming through. I mean, it's literally an 8-man opportunity here. Sia Khaleesi, and it's just James Ryan popping out there. You can't scrum 8 against 7. You have to have everybody engaged.
What a test for Furlong, Kelleher, Porter in that front row from Ireland now. 4 new forwards have come on. This is a mental challenge.
How does Andy Farrell respond? He's got Sheehan, Kilcoyne, Beelum, Henderson, Baird. 5 forwards, not 7, just the 5.
What an atmosphere.
What an atmosphere. You can sense that the fans in here know this game is on a knife edge at a pivotal juncture as we tick towards 50 minutes in the Stade. South Africa 3, Ireland 7, Rugby World Cup action on the BBC. Ireland holding firm at the scrum. It's going to have a reset as these 4 new South African forwards go to work.
Good scrum by Ireland, exactly what they want. We know that South Africa, they're not going to try and get the ball out of there early. They're just going to want to squeeze, put the real squeeze on this tired Irish pack. But this is where Porter, Furlong, they rate themselves. They think that they're the best front row in this competition. So this is the perfect chance for them to test themselves.
5 metres from the Irish line, Faf de Klerk spinning the ball on his finger, exuding an air of nonchalance. But the Springbok fans, they're on their feet, look, they're clapping, draped in Springbok flags, in South African colours.
You get the feeling this is going to be a massively pivotal moment. 50 minutes into the game.
Damien Deolandi has his hands on his thighs as if to say, give this to me. As South Africa get the penalty advantage, they're motoring towards the Irish line. Faf de Klerk, Deolandi, nice post. Oh, here comes a box try. Out to Cheslin Colby. Glorious from the box. Power, power, power. And then class out wide. And the Springboks lead in Paris.
Wonderful play by Springboks, wonderful play by the backs. They had the platform up front, a brilliant scrum and some wonderful wraparound play. I'm not too sure exactly who it was who gave the pass. I think it was Damon Deolandi. And Cheslin Colby in acres of space out wide. Nice easy run in for him, but yeah, South Africa, this is exactly what the bomb squad was hoping to do. This is exactly what Erasmus and Nienaber wanted the team to do, to bring them on at that 50-minute mark, and what a time to do it.
Yeah, lovely stuff. The wide ball, a beauty. Colby couldn't miss, but the damage done up front, Bobby Skinstad, with those 4 new forwards.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a fantastic scrum, and I think Ben O'Keefe was just looking at whether the pass drifted forward. Afterwards, they had advantage anyway, so they went for the wide ball. He's just asked the VAR to do it. It was an awkward moment because the countdown clock carried on. So the kickers were going, hang on, are we going to reset that or are we going to start again?
Oh, wow, this could be a big moment. Yeah, he is. He's questioning the pass.
Sorry, Breaker, I just lost you.
Let's listen into the officials. Brendan Pickerill and Ben O'Keefe.
Thank you. All good. Shot clock back on.
They're happy. They're happy the pass was not clear and obviously forward. So the South Africans, including Bobby Skinstad to my left, just breathe a sigh of relief. South Africa 8, Ireland 7.
It's not a big sigh of relief. It's a short-term
a little gasp of relief.
Tiny gasp of relief.
Well, Libbok has a chance to extend this lead out to 3 points.
Not a dissimilar try though. Good carry, good set piece, and then drifted wide.
But the South African coaches couldn't have hoped for any better. All this talk with the 7-1 split, the 7 forwards coming off the bench. What an impact they made off that scrum.
Well, you can see that Ireland are trying to fight fire with fire here, because Dan Sheehan and Ian Henderson are primed to come on. Here's Mani Libbok, he's hooked that, okay.
Yeah.
So, Colby's try is not bettered, and Libbok, who threw a lovely ball out to Colby, which wasn't judged to have gone forward. He can't convert. It's a 1-point ball game as James Ryan and Ronan Kelleher make way for Dan Sheehan and Ian Henderson, Tommy Bowe.
Very interested to see that James Ryan is the man that gives way for Ian Henderson. I would have thought that maybe Peter O'Mahony might have gone off and Ty Byrne go to the back row to add 3 big men, but no, obviously James Ryan has spent in that after that first half, and big opportunity for Ian Henderson, a big strong man to really have an impact.
Halfway line, Irish possession. They trail by 1 as Sexton tries to send a huge Gary Owen. Is that going to go too far? Very nicely taken. He is a classy footballer, isn't he, Damien Willemse? He kind of had that over his shoulder, horrible ball to take, swirling away. But he did take it, caused the free kick.
And kick possession away, an odd kick. If you're going to be putting it up into the opposition 22, you want to have Mac Hansen, James Lowe underneath it, challenging for it.
Here's Ireland again through Sexton, another high ball. They've definitely got instructions from the coaches to go to the boot in this second half. Keenan got up, looked like he had it, but then just lost it forward. 53 minutes gone, plenty of space in the backfield, Tommy Bowe points out, but South Africa are running it from their own 22. Here's Jesse Creel, good tackle, Ian Henderson, 10-metre line. South Africa in possession in their own half. They may have numbers. Willems is up from fullback and he's dancing regally, and he puts a grabber through. Nasty one for Lowe, who lets it go. Good territory game there, Bobby Skinstad for the box.
Yeah, fantastic play from Willemse, from the clean take in his own 22 to the skip pass, to the understanding there of, I think it was Damien Dalendi, who decided not to take the ball because he was going to get mauled by the outside in tackle. And Willemse just getting himself into space. I feel he does sometimes give a little bit too much possession away without a good opportunity for someone to clean into that ball. But I think he wants to play more rugby in Ireland's territory.
Yeah, but there's all this talk about the might and the power of this South African pack. But actually, when you've got dangerous men out the back like Willemse and Ardense and Colby, man, they're so dangerous if they get that ball in space.
Ireland have it inside their own half. South Africa 8, Ireland 7.
Full arm.
On 5 live at the Stade de France. We'll be with John Bennett and Paul Robinson as Burnley take on Man United in the Premier League. A penalty though to Ireland, offside against South Africa, and after that starts the second half from the box, Tommy Bowe, the pressure, the try. This is what Ireland need, penalty and a chance to take it into South Africa territory.
A carbon copy from what we saw earlier in the first half as well, with the second rows trying to get up. They've obviously spotted that Gibson Park is a little bit slow getting that box kick away. We saw RG Snyman try to get over the top there. For Ireland, they'd be delighted that he was off, just creeped offside, and as you say, a great opportunity for Ireland to get themselves back into the South African 22 and try to get a good line-out platform away.
So Johnny Sexton from his own 10-metre line will take this as far as he can up the field, potentially towards the Springbok 22. And Bobby Skinstad a line out now for Ireland, and fascinating, isn't it, with the bench. They've used 4 of these 7 forwards. When will they use the others? There's a couple of times they've been caught offside around the ruck, haven't they, trying to charge down the scrum half?
Yeah, they have just those little mistakes. You know, Ireland had a few of them in the line out and the tackle area in the first half. South Africa have allowed themselves to match the mistakes, giving away, like we said, the unforced errors.
Big one for Dan Sheehan as well, coming off the bench. That's his first throw.
Yeah, he found Omani. Now Ireland attack, that's intricate. The ball back inside from Sexton to Lowe, who breaks one tackle, then is sat down, but a decent intervention from James Lowe. Here's Gary Ringrose, nice little ball to Caelan Doris. A lot of confidence about the Irish carries, but then Gibson Park is got out by the South African forwards, forcing the knock-on, and South Africa will have the scrum.
Yeah, that's Quacker Smith, and you talk about a guy coming off the bench with the nous and the understanding of the ruck area. I mean, he played sevens for I think 6 or 7 years, started for South African sevens team. That ruck and tackle area, he makes so many good decisions, and you watch what a lovely piece of nuance from South Africa. But it's when that tackle happens, he comes flying through, drives a man away from the ball, and then he's the first man on Gibson Park on the ground.
There has to be a question at some stage, Johnny Sexton being hit off the ball. Pieter-Steph du Toit, any time he takes the line, he is putting such a shoulder on. We just saw Jesse Creel there absolutely lay him out. You know, a star man like that, they know how influential he is to this Irish team, but the referee, these small margins, I think that they do have to maybe flag it.
He is very good at that though, Pieter-Steph. He did it to George Ford in the 2019 final, did it to Finn Russell in Marseille a few weeks back. He normally just gets on the right side of the line. Penalty to Ireland at the scrum, that's massive. And look at the reaction of the Irish forwards. Look at the reaction of the Irish fans. Listen to the reaction of the Irish fans.
Big
penalty
moment.
Straight in front, Tommy Bowe. And surely they kick the goal here, Ireland.
Big moment, yeah. Chance for Ireland. There's 1 point in it at the minute. Got to take their points this time. Johnny Sexton, I'd say it's a fairly simple decision. Earlier on in the first half, we kind of questioned why you're not going for the points. They went for the corner, didn't really work out for them. I think now this is a chance to just really edge themselves back in front again.
Yeah, the penalty. What do you make of the penalty, Bobby? It's a powerful box scrum. We know that, but Ireland getting the decision.
I think it was a great counter push, counter scrum from Ireland there, and the big man Frans Malherbe, I mean, he was almost parallel to the ground. So you can't really blame the referee from saying it's his fault. Malherbe saying, I haven't gone backwards. I'm not doing anything incorrect. It's a reset. Disagreeing with the referee.
It is a knife edge, this game.
Oh, isn't it just? Who can call it? South Africa 8, Ireland 7. We are almost on the hour mark. And Johnny Sexton has this very straightforward kick to put the Irish back in front. He takes his time. The shot clock ticks down. Unperturbed. He belts it through, Johnny Sexton. And listen to the reaction of the Irish fans. South Africa 8, Ireland 10. Tommy Bowe.
Got their noses back in front. Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, it literally is side to side. As Sonia talked earlier, it's like a heavyweight battle. Two teams, two guys just going at it. One slug after another. I mean, it is incredibly physical out there.
Well, whoever's going to win the World Cup will do it the hard way, but even more so from this pool, from this side of the draw. Ireland still have Scotland to play. Whoever gets through Pool B will have New Zealand or France here in the Stade in 3 weeks' time. Oh, and Gibson Park was just a tad casual there, and the ball was called out by referee O'Keefe. The Boks are counter-rucking with purpose here, and Ireland have very slow ball. But their fans are in fine voice. What a weekend they're having in the French capital as Henderson sets it up. Hour gone in Paris. South Africa 8, Ireland 10, Rugby World Cup on 5 Live.
Timing!
We'll have Wales against Australia, Scotland against Tonga across 5 Live and the BBC Sport website, BBC Sounds. And what a game that's going to be in Lyon, Wales, Australia tomorrow. Another 8 o'clock kickoff on 5 Live. De Klerk just inside the Irish half. He goes on a little dart, centre field. Pieter-Steph plays at scrum half. Libbok's out the back. That's slightly slow from South Africa. Can Deolande add some impetus to this attack? Halfway line for the Boks who trail. Bobby Skinstad gestured as if the Irish were flirting with the offside line. Still there though for South Africa, and Libbok goes inside to Arendse. Libbok again, they're just probing here, the Boks. Willemse, then it's been knocked on by Deolande, and look at the Irish body language. Bundee Aki again goes to the Irish fans in front of us and says, come on, let's be having you.
First time we've seen South Africa really try and run the ball. We haven't seen much of them. They've tried to put it down into the Ireland half again, but really ran out of questions really, and seemed to be running up a blind alley. But yeah, exactly as you say, Bundee Aki, Johnny Sexton all going to the crowd, trying to get this atmosphere built, get the pressure on the South African team.
Right, as we wait for the scrum, let's go back to Turf Moor. What's happening there, John Bennett?
It's Burnley 0, Manchester United 1. A very slow second half, although Hoyland was inches away from making it 2-0 to United, sliding in a brilliant Dalot cross, couldn't turn it in. Paul Robinson is alongside me. The pace has gone from this game, Paul.
It has. It's almost like Burnley are trying to stay in the game till the end. United are sitting deep at times. They're allowing Burnley possession, knowing that they can't hurt them. Burnley having far more possession than United, as they did in the first half, but Burnley lack quality in the final third. They don't seem to be able to lay a glove on United, and United are quite comfortable knowing at the moment that Burnley can't hurt them.
A great Bruno Fernandes goal separates the sides. Burnley 0, Manchester United 1.
Nice one, John, at Turf Moor. John Bennett alongside the former England goalkeeper Paul Robinson as the scrum goes down. And Bobby Skinstad, is it just the fact there are more Irish in here, or are the Irish making more noise because they're just sensing they've got their noses in front?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think the crowd are playing the 16th man, if you will, to the Irish team here, because every time they do anything physical on the field, they're turning to the crowd and getting them in behind them, which is fantastic, and it's part of why we love international rugby so much. You know, there's singing and going on in the stadium. The South Africans really have to look at the inner selves here and say, how can I incrementally get into the opposition half? Otherwise they're going to have no chance in this game, because the Irish voice is rising.
Yeah, it just showed a clip there of the Irish players who weren't picked in the 23 today, and they can't hide their emotion. Jack Conan had pulled his jumper up over his eyes. I mean, that is exactly how tight this is, and it just shows exactly what it means to them this game.
Is it one of those games where you actually would rather be on the pitch than in the stands?
Oh, nobody wants to be in the stands. Everybody wants to be out. This is a World Cup.
But it's easier being on the pitch sometimes for the nerves and stuff, because you can control it on the pitch that little bit more.
Well, so my parents used to tell me. My parents used to say, oh, it's
you've got it easy out there.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, come on now, did you see the hit I just took there? But yeah, sometimes when you're out there and you're on the pitch, you have an impact on it. And there's so much, this whole crowd, they're all so behind this Irish team. There's a lot of pressure on these guys.
Listen to the noise. And that point about being more comfortable on the pitch than watching was one made by Martin Johnson. All about Martin Johnson with Mark Chapman. Do get that from 5 Live Sports, all about podcast feed, because it's a brilliant chat with the World Cup winning captain, who'll be part of our 5 Live team later in the competition as South Africa win the penalty this time. It's tit for tat at the scrum, but the South African press the power button at the scrum. And they do win a penalty, and now Bobby Skinstad, you've captained this side. What do you do in this situation? It's 40 metres out on the angle. It's a tricky kick, but it would take the Boks into the lead, or they could put it down into the corner.
Well, I think they've already made the signal towards the uprights, and wow, is it not? I mean, they
can go to the sideline.
It's back and forth. Moni Lubbock has said, I want to go for the points here, and this is what we said earlier. This is the big question. If he misses another one like this, do you put on one of the other kickers? Do you do anything that would be different for the rest of the tournament?
A big one there for Ireland to lose another scrum penalty. You can see that Finlay Bealham, Ryan Baird, 2 of the Ireland forwards are going to come on after this break and play as well. It's so much pressure on these 2 guys to try and stem the tide and the power of this big Springbok pack.
It'd be so interesting, wouldn't it, to know how Andy Farrell would be using his replacements without this 7-1 split, without this bomb squad that is coming on and making a difference at the scrum, because 3 Irish players are primed to come on. Henshaw, but also Ryan Baird at lock and Finlay Bealham in the front row. Lubbock to put the Boks ahead. Nice strike, but he's missed it to the left, has he? Yes, he has. So South Africa coughing up points from the tee, Bobby Skinstad. The one Achilles heel you could highlight in this Boks side, goal kicking, and they've missed a few.
Yeah, and we said it beforehand, that's a 6-point giveaway here. This would be a 5-point lead. Ireland putting their replacements on here, a whole bunch of them flying on here, Chris. It's helter-skelter stuff. Dion Fourie coming on for Bongi and Mbonambi on the South African side as well.
I think that is all 7 of the South African forwards on, because Trevor Nyakane is on as well, I believe, wearing number 18, yet preparing to lift RG Snyman. So that means that Peter Steph de Toit, as we look around the pitch, is the only starting back still on. So the whole of the bomb squad has been deployed by the South African coaches, and here one of them runs it back through Quacker Smith.
No, wait, yeah.
Therefore, Faf de Klerk, driven on by Dion Fourie, normally a back rower playing a hooker. Ireland rip it, but a penalty. He started to ping the offsides, Ben O'Keefe. Ireland were on the brink a few moments ago. This time he's got the call from the sideline, offside against Ireland, and another chance for points Bobby Skinstad, but Libbok's missed 2 kicks at goal and de Klerk's missed the long ranger.
Marked on the side.
For people who are listening to this, it's driving in your car. This is like 2 cars colliding into each other. I mean, some of the hits that have been going in between these sides, it's just, you know, myself and Bobby both played to a decent level. I don't remember it being this intense. I mean, it really is such physical stuff between these 2 teams.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff. And you know, big, physical, smart, intelligent men actually smashing each other, but then also playing the
You'd be wondering, are they intelligent? I mean,
well, I'm trying to say they're holding it together because they're still catching and passing after all of this this wrestling going on in the middle of the field.
They're going to need a break after this.
De Klerk's going for goal. He's pulled this one badly. So they're going for points here, South Africa, and they're missing plenty. I'll make that 3, 6, 9, 11 points at least from the boot. Either the left boot of de Klerk or the right boot of Libbok. South Africa will be well in front, but they have been missing opportunities.
Ireland need to start playing some territory now, need to get themselves back into the South Africa half.
Well, no better man to do that than Conor Murray, who is on at scrum half, a man you would have played alongside many times, Tommy.
Yeah, very smart footballer. He won't bring the same tempo that Gibson Park would have had in the first half, but I think going into the closing 15-20 minutes, this isn't really about tempo. This is about that game of chess, playing in the right areas of the pitch, not giving South Africa a chance to counter like we've just seen.
Yeah, Willemse with a decent dart from the backfield, now driven on by the South African forwards. 10-8 to Ireland on 5 Live. Libbok, Deolande, Irish rush is good, and they sit Deolande down, slap bang on the halfway line. Back it comes to Willemse, who goes to the boot. He's got Colby herring after it. Lowe comes forward and doesn't take it. It's been knocked on. South Africa win the kick battle. That's Curtly Arendse wearing 14, who darted up for that one. He's so good in the air, Arendse. And it will be a scrum to South Africa inside the Irish half, Bobby.
Yeah, Arendse has done a lot of good work in the air today. I've got to say, Damien Willemse has also been good. He's, you know, lovely distribution. He's so physical when he gets the ball. I love the way that he's a full-on. I mean, he's a big 100-kilo guy, but he's also happy to counter-attack, run from the back, do that kind of thing.
Very dangerous footballer as well. But we talked about territory a few minutes ago. James Lowe unfortunately dropped that high ball, giving the Springboks that opportunity to attack inside the Irish half. And this is what it comes down to. You kind of can't give the teams an opportunity.
There are only 13 minutes left at the Stade de France. South Africa 8, Ireland 10. Who will blink in this final quarter? South Africa's scrum is rock solid. The forward replacements making a difference. Here goes Deolande. He's allowed a bit too much room there. He sets it up just short of the 22. De Klerk comes to the right, driven on again. Jean Klein with the carry, wearing 19. Here's Oxenche, helped out by Niakani. Ireland looking to steal, but it's there for the box. No, it has been stolen by Ireland. Brilliant work on the floor by the Irish, and Lowe went to hack it downfield. It was charged. It will be an Irish line-out, but Tommy, Lowe would have loved to have got that clear and sent it miles downfield.
He absolutely hoofed that ball. Unfortunately, it ricocheted off after Clerk, I think, who charged it down. But a brilliant turnover. Conor Murray coming on, showing all his experience there, stopping that South African attack, turned it over. James Lowe tried to put it down back into South Africa half, but fair play to Faf de Klerk, put his body on the line, and a great charge down. It is an Ireland line out inside their 22.
Just flashed up on the big screen there, 78,000. And I'm thinking to myself, about 74,000 of them are Irish.
What a crowd in tonight as Van der Fleer peels away. Can Ireland weather this Springbok storm as we tick towards the final 10? Back from Murray to Lowe, and Lowe this time gets a huge clearance kick downfield. Willemse, though, in his own 22. He's looking to counter-attack Damien Willemse with that dazzling footwork, just short of halfway. They've got numbers to the left. That's where de Klerk looks. Little dummy from Quacker Smith. He goes over the halfway line. Decent carry that by number 7 of the Bok forward replacement, wearing 22, normally a reserve fly half. Good bust here. RJ Snyman's gone through. South Africa starting to turn it on in the Stade de France. Numbers to the right. Libbok over to the far side. Jesse Creel. Peter Steff loses it. But warning signs for Ireland as Snyman went bursting through, and then they made some ground down the right-hand touchline before losing it out of play.
Ireland just holding on here at the minute. A brilliant line break by RG Snyman. Ireland's defence still on top, but they need to get, as we said a couple of minutes ago, they need to get themselves into South Africa half, take the pressure off themselves. Johnny Sexton is getting his leg treated for, it looks like cramp at the minute, but he's taken an absolute punishment so far in this game.
We're just looking at the various players on the field. Everybody's being treated at the same time, and while we're listening to that, Ben O'Keefe is saying it's South Africa ball. I think maybe that the attempted offload from Pieter-Steph du Toit might have come off an Irish hand.
Well, we're seeing a replay here.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It looked like Conor Murray doing the tackle, and it knocked it into South African territory.
That's a big moment, that, because it looked like du Toit had knocked on, but clever spot potentially that it came backwards off Murray out of play. As we wait for the line, now let's go back to John Bennett at Turf Moor.
It's Burnley 0, Manchester United 1, and Burnley have nearly had a good opportunity to level it there. Andre Onana flying out of his 6-yard box to divert the ball away from one of the substitutes, Jakob Brun-Larsen. It's been a poor second half, to be honest. Manchester United controlling the game, Burnley trying and failing to get back into it, but it's Burnley 0, Manchester United 1.
Thanks very much, John. Perfect timing as South Africa prepare to throw into the line-out. It is Springbok ball. It is very dangerous for Ireland, this. They win it at the line-out. Jean Klein up high. They're a few metres in from touch. They're getting this rolling maul going. Body positions look pretty solid from the box. What can Ireland do to repel this maul? It is inching methodically towards the Irish line. It's a penalty against Ireland. Tyburn misdemeans. There for Faf de Klerk. 2 points in it. 10 minutes to go. Penalty advantage is the call from referee O'Keefe. Set up by South Africa as Deolandi goes into clear, and they're going to stick this in the corner again, aren't they, Bobby, and really crank up the pressure on this Irish back.
Well, it's a really interesting call here because it's definitely kickable, but they're not proving that they're gathering points from there. Let's see what they do here.
There's no way they're going to kick this. They're kicking this into the corner.
Gone straight into the corner, hasn't he?
Listen, this is what South Africa want. You saw the power of that maul taking on Ireland, showing that they're got this physical presence, and a line out 5 metres out from the Irish line. This is alarm bells for an Irish point of view.
Well, this is the moment, isn't it? This, you feel, is the game right here. 9 minutes to go. South Africa 8, Ireland 10. You sense the crowd know it as well. The Boks win it at the front, do they? No, it wasn't straight. And Irish fans all around us are on their feet. They know the importance of that.
Massive moment, massive moment. We saw Ireland making those errors and their own line-outs. South Africa, that could really hurt them.
Bobby.
Yeah, just looking at the call from the referee, and I agree it wasn't straight. So it's a bad mistake from the referee, but it's a scrum. South Africa can still attack at a defensive scrum here. Ireland have still got to get out of the territory, so it's really on a knife edge. It just doesn't go anywhere, does this? This game is just amazing.
You kind of thought maybe it would open up and tries would rain in, but not a bit of it. It's been so close, so compelling, so intense and captivating, but constantly on a knife edge. South Africa 8, Ireland 10. 8 minutes to go. As referee O'Keefe calls the Packs to engage. Can Ireland get a decent heel? They get a free kick as South Africa go early, and that must be the temptation, Bobby Skinstead, when you've got such a powerful scrum, to force it a bit. And they've ever so slightly gone early, South Africa. It's a free kick to Ireland, and what a chance to relieve the pressure.
Yeah, they'll relieve the pressure here with a James Lowe kick, no doubt.
Well, he just goes for distance low. Oh, he's got a good bounce as well, hasn't he, Tommy?
Super kick, yeah. It was all about the kick there. It was a free kick, so he couldn't kick it directly into touch. He's ended up actually bouncing it. Willem thought it was going to go a little bit longer. It's actually rolled nicely into touch just outside the South African 22 or 10 metre line.
Well, what a moment this is for young Jack Crowley, the 23-year-old who's edged past Ross Byrne to be Sexton's understudy. Sexton is coming off, he's kind of limping, he looks like he's cramped. That has to be an injury thing as Tommy Bowe puts down his microphone to applaud arguably the greatest Irish rugby player of all time. South Africa with the line out, 2 points in it, 7.5 minutes to go. The Boks attacking Aronson, what a break, and he's offloaded magnificently as South Africa busts the line through Marco van Staden. Into the Irish half they go, slightly slow ruck, so Libbok has to play 10. Inside it comes to Snyman, who gets a brilliant offload away to Smith. That's fantastic from the replacement forwards from South Africa. Here's another one in Oxenche. He barrels almost up to the 22. What have South Africa got? Trevor Nearkani. As Ireland defend for their lives, a big counter-up coming in by Caelan Doris. Huge pressure at the breakdown by Ireland, and the ball is loose, and it's been knocked on, and Tyburn kicks, and Mac Hansen's herring after it. He's on his own. 3 or 4 Springboks back there. Jesse Creel. Can Ireland get Creel? Van der Fleer does just about. Ian Henderson's in there. Ireland with their tails up, with a 2-point lead at the Stade de France, looking for the turnover. Ireland might have it through Conor Murray. They've got numbers to the left. Jack Crowley on for Sexton. Here goes Crowley. Finds Hugo Keenan. Good footwork, Keenan. I wonder if someone might slot into the pocket for a drop goal that could seal this game. 6 minutes left. Ireland are in South Africa's 22. Finlay Bealham, Crowley finds Hansen. Hansen into the 22. 2 points in it on 5 Live. Listen to the Irish supporters. Ian Henderson sets it up. Murray to Crowley. Crowley out the back to Keenan, who juggles with it. Tackled by Creel. 22 in South Africa's half. Andrew Porter's gone 74 minutes here, Tommy. What an effort from the prop. Murray, Robbie Henshaw. 22, I think Crowley might be back for a drop goal, you know. Conor Murray to Tyburn. They might be working a drop goal here. Conor Murray, Jack Crowley for 3. Up he steps, it's charged down. And Willemse will watch it go dead. Oh, it's going to be a 5-metre scrum though, because it was charged. 5-metre scrum, Ireland, what a moment.
I feel I've gone 74 minutes with this one. It is breathtaking stuff, end to end. What a break by Ireland to get themselves back into the 22 again. Just when I thought that South Africa, the muscle, the power was really starting to overpower them, Ireland have found a new breath of fresh air again. And all of a sudden they have an amazing attacking opportunity just underneath the South African posts.
They counter through in your own play.
Amazing piece of play from Ireland there. It was just a fly hack up the field, but they had the wherewithal to have 3 or 4 or 5 guys chasing that ball. Brilliant play up the middle of the field, and every individual stood up there. Jesse Creel was good on the ball. All the Irish guys holding on to the ball and managing it going forward. Outstanding.
You just saw the Irish coaches there. Paul O'Connell up on his feet, screaming on his own players. Andrew Porter there coming off. You just mentioned he's played 74 minutes.
Astonishing against that pack. Against 2 packs, basically.
Absolutely incredible. And look, he's getting high fives from all his teammates here at the minute. 2 points in it. Ireland ahead by 2 points. With this scrum underneath the posts, you can see them in a circle. Gave a big collective, big deep breath. This is a massive moment. If Ireland can secure this scrum, it's the perfect area to attack from.
I think if you opened up the dictionary and looked up a shift, Andrew Porter's 75 minutes would be qualified as a shift. What an effort, Andrew Porter. 75 minutes he's played. 75 minutes gone in Paris. South Africa 8, Ireland 10. South Africa up for chances. They've missed kicks at goal. They've blown 5-metre lineouts, and you can feel the energy around the stade. 35,000 Ireland fans have flocked to the French capital, and can Ireland now strike the killer blow to win this titanic clash in Pool B? 5-metre lineout to the Irish. Conor Murray just flicking the ball up. His experience invaluable. 110th cap for
straight down. Don't use
the 3-time British and Irish line tourist.
Don't use your head on the shoulder.
This could be Jack Crowley's opportunity.
Johnny Sexton. Go for another drop?
No. This is prime opportunity to attack. It's up to Jack Crowley. The call that he's played, he'll be looking at the way the South Africans are defending. He'll decide exactly where the ball's going to go to. This is where you try to step outside of Johnny Sexton's shadow. This is where you put your stamp on this Irish team.
Fields of Athenry, the soundtrack for this Irish scrum. Bind and set, the call from referee O'Keefe. Numbers to the right and left, and Ireland get a long-arm penalty as South Africa go early again, and Ireland will take every single second of this minute. Hansen's whipping the crowd up on this right touchline. Irish fans punching the air all around us. Crowley will take his time. And he'll kick this goal to take the lead out to 5 with just minutes remaining.
Instability.
The crowd, they've just seemed to gone to a whole new level in this place. I don't know what to say. I mean, for South Africa, they've the dominance in the scrum, and to give away a simple penalty like that, like crouching and engaging too early, these are the small errors that can be really, really hurt teams.
Absolutely. Both teams have had small errors. Ireland have managed to play through theirs. South Africa have allowed them to hurt theirs to hurt them. Well, this will go to 13 points to 8. South Africa still to kick off.
They'll have to score a try then, won't they?
They'll have to score a try to have any chance in this game. What an opportunity.
Well, Crowley, he's clever, which he no doubt is, will just wait for the shot clock almost to go to 3, 2 and 1. He cannot miss this. A metre or so, maybe a couple more to the left of the post, only about 10 metres out. He could kick this in his sleep. And with 3 minutes left of his allotted time, he kicks the goal into the Irish fans, goes the ball. And Ireland lead by 5 with just a couple of minutes remaining. South Africa 8, Ireland 13.
Ireland can't get ahead of themselves. There's still one try in it. These are what they call the championship minutes, Bobby. You know what it takes to win a World Cup. South Africa know exactly what to do. They're a cup competition. Ireland need to just be secure, exactly like we just saw there. A wonderful take by Ryan Baird.
Championship minutes for Ireland, championship minutes for Tommy Bowe's voice. Can it hold up? Can Ireland hold up? 5 minutes left, long kick, and now Libbok's got to run it back. And if Ireland can just keep their discipline, they've got this one in the bag. Great tackle, Conor Murray. Beelam's on that ball, Dan Sheehan's on that ball.
No.
They just need to keep their cool, composure and discipline here, Ireland, because South Africa will have to go 60 metres to win this. 2 minutes left at the stand, and the Ireland fans sense they're on the verge of a famous Irish win. Here goes Cheslin Colby, this ever dangerous winger. But Ireland are trying to steal that on the floor, and they think they've got it, and they may have turned it over. They have turned it over. Brilliant again from the Ireland forwards at the breakdown. And with under 2 minutes left, they've got this one in the bag. Back from Murray to Lowe, who'll just play some territory.
Oh, don't kick it too long.
He hasn't kicked it too long. Colby has to take, and Colby has to go from 80 now. He skips over the 22. Tired Irish bodies, but they make their tackles with Tyburn in there. His kick ahead a few moments ago was pivotal as Ireland got that field position to go 5 ahead. Oxenchae, the ever dangerous Libbok out to Jesse Creel. The South African backs have had to go 80 with all these forwards on the bench. Can they spark anything? 90 seconds left on 5 Live. The ball out the back, here goes Willemse, tries to get the offload away and does eventually. Driven on by these South African forwards, but Ireland are holding firm at the moment. Penalty South Africa, right.
One penalty here for off feet.
Right, off feet.
Over there for hands in the ruck.
And hands in the ruck, so 2 penalties. And now Tommy Bowe and Bobby Skinstad, if you're South Africa, you go deep into Irish territory and you put some pressure on at the more, Bobby.
Oh, you absolutely have to. You've got to have a line out. I mean, isn't this fantastic? It's down to the last couple of seconds of this match. You've got to have a line out deep in Irish territory. Libbok, big pressure on him to make sure that that's close to the Irish line, and it certainly is. What a fantastic kick.
Oh, how are your nerves, Tommy Bowe?
I can't deal with this.
He's taken.
My voice is gone. My heart is gone.
Joking.
Don't do this to me.
Libbok has taken it to 8 metres. What a play from the South Africa fly half. From halfway, he's belted it to within 8. And with 25 seconds left on the big screen clock at the stand, South Africa have a line-up that could end up with them winning the game. South Africa 8, Ireland 13. There are 15 seconds to go. Dion Fourie, he's not normally a hooker. He goes to the tail. It's won by Peter Steff. And South Africa get their maul going, and the backs are involved. They can level the scores and have a kick to win it. The 7 new forwards are putting such pressure on Ireland. They're motoring towards the line, South Africa. They're still going. Ireland despairing bodies everywhere. The ball has gone. Is it playable? What's the referee going to decide? It's not playable. Ireland have survived. The scrum is Ireland's, and the Stade de France erupts, and Ireland have pulled off a famous win. They've beaten South Africa. They've beaten the world champions, who gave it everything, South Africa. The 7 forwards off the bench. Ireland have gone so deep into the well, they can barely celebrate. Their fans will do the celebrating for them. The World Cup hasn't been won tonight, but what a statement from the world number 1. South Africa 8, Ireland 13, full time in Paris, Tommy Bowe.
There are tears. They are showing clips of supporters around the stadium right now. There are old men literally in floods of tears. Yes, this match wasn't the World Cup final. Yes, it wasn't a quarter final yet. It means nothing, but it means absolutely everything to the supporters. It means absolutely everything to these Irish players. And this is such a statement of intent where this team have been and where they are going at the moment. What a fantastic test match.
Unbelievable match between two great teams. And the best part about this, and this is why we love rugby, is both teams are sitting there hugging, embracing after a fantastic contest. 80 minutes on the field and no quarter asked or given. But the handshakes are there, the hugs, the well dones, the high fives. And what a brilliant match between two great rugby nations.
The Cranberries ringing out. This is a very famous band. This is the song called Zombie. I don't know why they're playing that, but you can just hear the 35,000 Irish supporters here singing along. This is a special moment for Irish rugby.
Let's listen for a moment.
If my voice wasn't gone, I'd sing.
Well, that is the noise, Sonia, of 35,000 Irish fans who have witnessed the special Irish win. There's a long way to go in this World Cup, but they have downed the world champions and cemented their status as the world #1 side and maybe as Rugby World Cup favourites. A compelling, brutal battle of a game. South Africa 8, Ireland 13.
I do not have a drop of Irish blood in me, but goodness me, my heart rate is still through the roof. That's a 16th straight win for Ireland and a significant scalp in South Africa. The defending world champions, as Chris said, downed. You're right, Tommy Bowe, I'm worried about you.
He's taking a selfie.
I'm just rubbing it in Bobby Skinstad's face here. Sorry.
He's gone to our former South Africa captain and said, let's have a selfie to mark the moment.
There's no such thing as hugs on the sideline. They might be hugging on the pitch, but boy, I'm delighted with that.
Tommy, that crowd, I just get a sense that they believe that they are watching the world champions-elect. Do you think the same?
Oh, listen, Sonia, I'd love to say yes, but I think you got to think about where Andy Farrell is going with this. It's a fantastic win. It's an incredible performance. Two absolute heavyweights going at it. Ireland came out on top, but you got to remember, it's still the pool stages. Ireland have that ceiling. They've never been past the quarter-final. This should now cement their place in the quarter-final, but all eyes will be on Scotland, and then that big game. Will it be France? Will it be New Zealand? There's still so much more rugby to play, but I think the players are going to enjoy this moment. The supporters have enjoyed all day, and what a way to cap it off.
Bobby, those last few minutes, I think there was a moment there when James Lowe, winger, sort of turned round and looked at the ref and his teammates and went, is that it? Have we won? Ireland were immense. How impressed?
Yeah, Ireland were absolutely brilliant. South Africa will be really disappointed. They let themselves down on some points off the tee, but they let Ireland into the game, and then, you know, at points I think Ireland forced themselves back into the game. Just some physical play, some really smart sort of tackle and ruck area management, which was so good, and they showed that in the crunch moments they can come through and make the good decisions. So fantastic win for Ireland. It's a great opportunity for them to top the pool and get a quarter-final that is, you know, allowing them to start to believe that they're on the road towards a World Cup. And what a fantastic journey, what a way to do it. I could just tell you, it is unbelievable. The crowd here are on their feet singing, cheering their men on the field, and it's unbelievable attitude here.
The World Cup, it's special, Bob, isn't it? Like, you can see both teams went hammer and tong at each other. They're both clapping each other off the pitch. There's kids, some of the families are out on the pitch. It's something that you don't get in the Six Nations, you don't get in the Rugby Championship. This World Cup, it's what makes it special. It's why Ireland have never, you know, why it hurts so much that they've never progressed beyond the quarter-final.
Well, I can tell you, I mean, they've just done a sort of a Roman tunnel, if you want, for both teams who've clapped each other off, and then they've asked Johnny Sexton to go and do the lap of honour again, because there's so much respect for him. And the South African team quite genuinely giving all the kudos to Ireland in a match that they deserve it.
It's a nice little moment actually between the two captains, Johnny Sexton and Sia Khaleesi. I always want to be a sort of fly on the wall when they're having those sorts of conversations. We talked about it before the game. Look, if these two were to meet in the final again, and they are number 1 and number 2 in the world, so it's not beyond the bounds of possibility, what will the significance of that match be, this match be ahead of that?
Oh my goodness. They'll both be sore anyway. Of course, it will be huge. Ireland, if they were to face each other in a final, who knows? There is that psychological edge that Ireland will have. That's 2 wins in a row against the Springboks. But I don't think that'll matter much. South Africa will lick their wounds. They'll get themselves ready. They still believe that they can go on and win a World Cup. But I think from an Irish point of view, we talked about it before, I think Ireland had more to lose if they were to lose here today. This takes all the pressure now off going into the Scotland match, and they can really focus and turn their attention massively on who they're going to play in the quarterfinal.
I do wonder, Sonia, if South Africa had rolled that maul at the end, and again Ireland had lost to a last-minute maul, a bit like the Leinster players to La Rochelle a few times over the last few years, would they have had this nagging doubt, we just can't put away the big power forward-orientated teams? So the fact Ireland hung on, it definitely doesn't win them the World Cup tonight, but it's a huge step in the development of this magnificent side.
And is every coach that, watching, they just go, bomb squad, diffused, brilliant.
Margins fine though, aren't they? The margins, that was the kind of game it was. The margins were tiny, that if the Boks had rolled that maul and they were 2 metres away, we'd be saying, the bomb squad did its job, genius from Rassie. Yeah. So it's just probably those margins, that's what Test Rugby's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there are a couple of mistakes from South Africa that stopped the bomb squad doing their job. I don't think the players who came on didn't do their job. I thought they were outstanding. I thought RG Snyman was a fantastic break up the middle from the big man. He had some offloads, there was physicality all the way through, and they fell centimetres short in the final reckoning. And to say that the bomb squad is failing would be to be taking too much away from Ireland's fantastic victory.
Exactly. I felt there was at one stage where South Africa were really starting to put their dominance on going into the final 5-10 minutes of the game. All of a sudden they turned it over, and Tadhg gave that big hoof, kicked it down the middle of the pitch, and it just that's really what swung it back in Ireland's favour. So you're talking about the smallest of margins, and that's all about momentum, and this is why they're the 2 best teams in the world.
Bobby, Handré Pollard, he has to start the next game, doesn't he?
Well, it depends on what Rassie and the team want out of the next game. I mean,
but
Tonga,
11 points left behind, that's victory right there.
11 points is enough to have had the victory in this match. You're 100% right. And we mentioned before, we said if Manie Libbok was 50% of the tee, then it's not the same player. He was the good general in the middle of the field, but unfortunately off the tee, Faf de Klerk and Manie Libbok let their teammates down, and that's the reality of it. Is it, you're going to lose test matches if you can't convert the penalties that you earn on the field.
Yeah, well, that's true enough. I want to just ask about Bundee Aki. I mean, it's hard when you're looking at that performance from Ireland to sort of pick out individual performances, but he was brilliant tonight. And there was a turnover really late on, and that was him.
He was exceptional. He made that tackle and then stepped up and made the turnover again.
Yeah.
I think that's 3 player of the matches he's had in a row. He's played 3 matches, he's got player of the match in all 3 of them, and he has to be playing that well to keep the likes of Robbie Henshaw on the bench. But he was incredible today. But you look at Gary Ringrose, who's just outside him, some of the tackles he made. You look at some of the tackles Johnny Sexton, to take on this South African team, they all had to really step up. And yes, Bundee Aki has been really sensational this World Cup so far, and he's going to have to be as the competition goes on. But
should we hear from him, Tommy? Should we hear from Bundee?
Go for it.
Let's go. What does that mean to you?
Lost for words, These Irish fans are incredible. Honestly, I've never ever witnessed anything like it. Travel crowd, it's a joke, completely a joke, and it's only going to get bigger and crazier from here on in. For sure. Look, fair play to the boys for playing out well today. South Africa are an outstanding team. They're no world champions for no reason, you know what I mean? They gave it to us right from the beginning to the end, and I can guarantee you, whatever happens, we probably will see them again. And I know they'll probably big a bigger game, and there's going to be a lot more pressure on that. So we'll see how we go for the week off and then regroup again for Scotland.
Not a lot of tries tonight, but just how important was it to have such an all-round performance?
I think as a group and as a team, we knew that coming into this game, we obviously played 2 games beforehand. We knew that we had to be a lot better in all areas of our game. We knew South Africa were going to give it to us, and look, they did. And they put us under an immense amount of pressure, and like we said, we just trusted each other, and the belief that we have in our group is outstanding. So yeah.
Congratulations on the win. Go enjoy it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
The Irish players enjoying a slow, after that, and deserved lap of honour. Thanks, chaps. That was sensational. Chris Jones, Bobby Skinsker and Tommy Bowe, throat sweets, my love.
Thanks, Sonia. Speak to you soon. What a night.
What a
Red
night.
wine, you mean?